Gabe, give us a toot related historical figure.
Toot Franklin.
No, yeah. Toot Franklin, Tootus Maximus, Tutankhamun,
Tutankhamun! No! Hi everyone, and welcome to another Atmos video. We're back with the Rares and Mythics. We're not waiting for Mango. Turns out he's coming back from vacation a day later, so it's just me and Gabe again. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. We're going to talk still primarily from a limited perspective. So default, the way that we're talking about this is limited, but being that they're Rares and Mythics, we're definitely going to like mention Commander if something looks cool, right, or Standard.
Or if it's Blessed Vintage.
yeah. If it's crazy, we might suggest that it's even playable in Vintage, maybe Modern. All the formats.
I hope.
Okay, well, we're just gonna go through the colors and get right into it. Yeah. I go first. Another round. It's XX 2 and a white for a sorcery. Exile any number of creatures you control. Then return them to the battlefield under their owner's control. Then repeat this process X times. So it is a
It's super blank.
Blink any number.
It's a Blinkus Maximus.
It's Blinkus Maximus. But it costs 5.
Yeah.
So it's 5 minimum to blink your whole team. Wait, no. It's 3.
It's one thing.
It's 3. No, it's 3 to blink your entire team 1 time. And then it's 5 to blink your entire team 2 times. And then it's 7 to blink your entire team.
Yeah, you're right.
3 times. So, I mean, how many good ETBs do you have, I guess, like, in Limited?
Yeah, if you're playing Displacer Kitten in a Commander deck, you're playing this.
You
Otherwise,
have to talk about Limited first, Gabe. I'm going to put a counter and post here every time Gabe evaluates a card other than Limited first.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm only saying that because this should never be played in Limited, and it's garbage and trash.
Okay. Strong rebuttal. Yeah. No, you're right. I think maybe you could have enough. There's like some outside chance you could get enough ETBs where this is at least funny to try.
You're gonna get this on your first pack, first card.
Yeah, just take every ETB.
You're gonna immediately rage against the machine. There will be bodies on the floor after you pull this first card, first draft, and you're like, fuck.
It's funny. It's a funny card. Yeah, so yeah, it's Commander. Sure, we talk Commander. It's kind of a Commandery card, but I'm not even too interested in it there, right? Like,
it's a bad
silly.
Commander card.
It's silly.
It's a silly card.
It's silly.
Yeah.
If you like to do silly things in Limited or silly things in Commander, have a silly time with another round. Like,
yeah.
Like the name's even goofy.
Yeah. How about another card?
How about another
card? This card.
Oh, this is a card.
Archangel of Tides. 1 and triple white, so 4 for an angel, 3/5 flyer. As long as Archangel of Tides is untapped, creature can't attack you or Planeswalker you control unless the controller pays 1 for each of those creatures. So attacking creatures. As long as Archangel of Tides is attacking, creatures can't block unless the controller plays 1 for each of those. So like, I mean, this is just a very good card. I mean, it's a mythic. So it's a 3/5 flyer for 4. Yes, it's triple white, which is limiting. But like, if you're playing this on 5 or 6, you give a shit.
It's good.
You're not. It's just very good. It's what's the blue enchantment that makes people pay 1 for each creature attacking you?
Propaganda. White has Ghostly Prison or something like that as well.
Yeah,
that does the same
white
thing.
has Ghostly Prison. Yeah, it's a
tax.
It's a really good card.
It be taxing your tithes, taking all your tithes.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'd like to give her my tithes.
It's really just triple white. I mean, this is going to be one of the ones that like kind of sucks to open, even if you're splashing white. Like on pack 3, if you're like lightly in white and you open Archangel of Tides, you're like, gotta take more white.
Whatever. Who cares? You're
Yeah,
still taking it and
it's
happy about it.
it's like an A minus. It might be an A minus for the
Yeah,
triple
it,
white.
it, it's triple white, so I still think it's probably an A. It's a 3-5, but like I feel like a lot of the shit we've seen has not been over 4 attack in this set. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's good. It's
Even
really
the
good.
high
It's
end,
like an A. It's like an
it's
A.
really good.
And we know about this in other formats. It's a famous reprint. All right, Aven Interrupter. Interrupt me. 1 white flash flying 2/2. Boy, they like these 2/2 flash flyers for 3. I guess when it enters the battlefield, exile target spell. It becomes plotted. So it interrupts them. Spells your
Yep.
opponents cast from graveyards or exile cost 2 more to cast. So it's a counter that also taxes them. It's a delay counter that taxes the recast, which we've seen some cards do now, right? Like, there's a couple cards that like tax cards out of your hand.
Yep.
But it also taxes all of their plot. It makes plotting in general basically unplayable unless you kill this. This is a very limited sort of card. I guess it could be maybe good in like standard, perhaps. How good do you think this is in limited? Is this like a B?
Yeah.
It's like a
I mean,
B, right?
it's a 2/2 flyer for 3. The exile thing, like once again, I think this set does once again want to be for lit in the sense of limited, pretty aggressive. So if you're in
Maybe it's better.
white, like
Maybe it is actually like B plus A minus because now I'm just imagining you have this in your hand, you just don't play anything on 3, and then no matter what they play, you're doing this, and that's a big
yeah,
tempo swing, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, maybe it's like a B plus because then it also really, yeah. If you're yeah. All right, yeah. It's like a B plus A minus.
I mean, the worst case scenario
It's
is
pretty good
that they're plotting something, honestly.
because then you can't counter it. That's actually true.
'Cause then you can't counter
You
it.
can't
And there's a
counter.
lot of plot threes.
There is a lot of plot threes that would kind of suck. It's a good point. You probably still cast. No, okay. So it actually gets. It actually kind of
That's
fixes that fail case because it taxes them from to unplot it. So you still probably just cast this on
oh, because
3.
it is from exile.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the whole
You're
thing.
casting on this on 3, never more.
Yeah, I'm just casting it on 3 no matter what. Basically, if they plot or if they don't plot, I'm casting this. All right, it's
Yeah,
pretty good.
absolutely.
Pretty
Yeah,
good.
it's good.
All
It's
right,
good. Claim jumper.
look at
2 and a
this
white.
rabbit.
Yeah, it's a illustrious rabbit. 3/3 rabbit mercenary. Vigilance. When claim jumper enters the battlefield, if an opponent controls more lands than you may search your library for a plains card and put it into the battlefield tapped. Then, if an opponent controls more lands than you, repeat this process once. If you search your library this way, shuffle. I mean, so this is like a land tax, weirdly,
Yeah, we've
only
seen
on ETB.
yeah we've seen this effect pretty commonly. I mean, it's
No,
basic
it is a weird version of the effect because like it checks again to make sure that you're still at the same point with lands.
because it puts it into battlefield, which is wild, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, this is interesting. Like, do you play a really lean
Really
land
weird
count? I guess
card.
you're always playing 16 lands if you play this, and like you would love to keep it. Yeah, I don't know. This
It's a
card's weird.
3/3
It's a 3/3 vigilance
vigilance
for
for
3, right?
3
We
by
could
itself.
we could not get lost in the sauce and just let it be a 3/3 vigilance for 3. I wonder if this possibly has applications in like like possibly standard, just because the fact that it can like draw you 2 cards basically is kind of wild, right? Like let's say you're in like some really lean land deck for whatever reason. If your opponent has 5 when you play this, it just draws 2 cards, right? And puts them into play.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it undeniably it does that. I just don't. I'm not. I mean, obviously, for limited exclusively,
Yeah, it's just
three
whatever.
three vigilance for three is like
C plus.
no, I think this card is a C.
I think
Like
all in it's
how
a C plus. If
it,
it
all
draws you
sure.
one land, it's good. It's great, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's a C plus.
I think it's a C plus. Yeah. All right. Dust Animus. One and a white for a 2/3 flyer. Spirit at rare.
Yeah.
If you control 5 or more untapped lands, it enters the battlefield with a 2/1/1 and lifelink? Okay, so you plot this on 2, and then on turn 5, you're threatening to play a 4/5 flyer for 0 mana. With
With
lifelink.
lifelink, with lifelink.
Whoa. That
I
is
mean,
intimidating.
also a 2/3 flyer for two is a
I think
lot.
I think I'm always plotting this.
I
Unless
mean,
I'm super aggressive. Like I have to be insanely
that,
aggressive to not plot
that,
this.
that's not the point. I'm saying if you have to play this as a 2/3 flyer for two, cool.
How do you mean have to? Like they're being too aggressive?
Yeah, I'm saying worst case scenario, I'm playing this as a 2/3 flyer for two, and I'm not the most
Yeah.
mad
Yeah. I'm just saying that play. I can't imagine. It would be really hard to play this as a 2/3 flyer.
for sure
Because it's so good when you plot it.
because it's nuts plotted. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah.
not
I agree.
countering you.
So
I'm
this
saying
is
that
an A.
this card is only good.
Yeah. This is an A, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
A
Yeah.
unlimited.
Okay. This is winning you the game as a four
This
five
this might be
flyer.
good in other formats. Honestly, you just put it because it just chills in exile. Like you could play this in blue white control, where just this is like your turn two play, and then you can get in a counter war about it later, right? At your discretion, because you have all your mana up. You
Yeah,
know,
right,
when you're casting a four,
right.
you're casting a 0 mana 4/5 lifelink on some
Yeah,
turn. You know,
right, right.
that seems good.
Any format that you have 20 health is this is an ass beating.
yeah, yeah. I don't. Unless I really, I mean, I guess if you really care about casting things from exile, I don't know if plot even fits into that sort of commander deck because I don't play that sort of commander deck. But
No.
who knows?
And it's usually red green. Red something,
Okay,
red anything.
you get an instant mythic spree. Oh my
Mythic's
goodness.
great. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel blessed and highly favored
Yeah,
because we're gonna have a final showdown here with
yeah.
this single white instant spree. For an additional one, all creatures lose all abilities until end of turn.
Okay.
An additional one, choose a creature you control. It gains indestructible until end of turn, or a total of six and two white, or I should
Three,
say,
three white.
or uh, well, three and three white.
Yeah, three and
Destroy
three.
all creatures. I mean, this card is just excellent. It's a board wipe.
It's an
It's
instant
something.
speed board wipe. Those are
It's
rare.
an it's an instant speed board wipe that is expensive, but can also, for being extra expensive, save a creature of yours
Yeah, and guarantee
and
kill all of theirs.
guarantee kill all of theirs.
Because it makes sure to remove indestructible or any other hijinks right
All
first.
abilities.
First,
All abilities.
then it gives a creature you control indestructible, and then it blows up everything else other than that creature.
Yeah.
Because that's the way the text resolves. But that's 8 mana. But it's an instant speed. This is an interesting card. It also does
I mean,
three
I'm
very
taking this
different things.
at every opportunity in
Oh,
limited.
oh
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
this is an S in limited, but how good is this in other formats?
Yeah, I think it might have a chance. Like, huge props to the design of this card. The designer, like, they got their wings with this one. Because on the surface, those are three very different abilities, right? With how they can affect a game. Like, in other formats, like making all creatures lose abilities, like, does things against, oh, what are they? Those modern free creature spells. It's been too long since I played modern now. The Solitude and whatever, Grief.
Yeah, grief.
Fury that's banned now. The
Yeah,
incarnations or whatever. So like that's used with that you know that enchantment, that blue enchantment that makes all creatures lose all abilities and you draw a card? I play it in Enchantress.
probably. I mean, I would recognize it.
Anyway,
But
that
yes,
that
yeah,
card is played in Modern. That card is played in Modern. I don't remember the name of it.
fair.
Um, and then Indestructible. I don't think that one really matters. I don't know. This probably isn't good enough for older formats, but maybe in a control deck,
It,
Azuria's control.
it's just so versatile.
I like it.
I think
I like it
especially in those
in
formats,
command.
all creatures losing abilities is excellent.
In
Obviously,
Commander, this is great.
good.
It just
Yes.
gets countered, but other than getting countered, it's great.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm always in command, or usually in commander, playing this for 7 and just choosing
This
my
is
commander and destroying all
Yeah,
creatures.
I was gonna say this is actually pretty funny in Voltron.
Yeah, for sure.
Save my Voltron, kill everything else. All right, Fortune Loyal Steed, 2 and a white for a 2/4. When it enters the battlefield, scry 2. Whenever it attacks while it's saddled at end of combat, exile it and up to one creature that saddled it this turn. Then return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control. So it's a 2/4 for 3 mount that scries 2. And then
Battles for
if
1.
if it gets saddled, then you bounce it. You have to bounce it, and up to one creature that saddled it, and then they immediately return, which will immediately scry you two again, minimum,
Yeah,
right, and potentially one other ETB if you want it to, and they will return untapped, which is also like pseudo vigilance for both saddling and attacking. So
right.
this card has a lot going on. um, yeah, this is really good and limited. Like, yeah, you hope you're in the mount deck.
Of course.
I can imagine not playing this in white. Like,
Yeah, I'm
why
not
would I
even mad
not play
about playing
this?
this in a mount deck.
It's asking very nothing of you to give you multiple scries and
And multiple ETP
yeah,
triggers.
and several ETB triggers. So yeah, this is like it's not like broken though. This is probably like an A minus, you
Yeah,
know,
I certainly don't think
B
it's
plus.
broken, but
It's
I think
good.
it is just a super solid
Yeah,
card.
B plus. But by the way, I only think that this is like a B plus and limited, honestly. Just because if the
Really.
format's really fast, then like maybe you're just using it for the indestructible thing, which is pretty medium.
Yeah, but I also think if you're, yeah, I don't disagree with you, but I do
It
think that
costs
you're
6.
almost,
It's 6 to
yeah,
board wipe. Like that is a lot.
that's a lot.
That's a lot. 5 is much better, but just because of you can get stuck and not even draw your 6th land. Like every incremental land becomes harder and harder to
Yeah,
cast.
you're not wrong.
But yeah, this is like a B plus. All right, you're good.
High noon, 1 and a
Multicolored.
white. But yeah, as you will see, it's an enchantment. Each player can't cast more than one spell each turn,
Okay.
and pay 4 and a red into it to sacrifice it and deal 5 damage to any target.
Okay.
Weird.
Um.
Um,
No.
this is funny in like white blue when you're only trying to play like a single card a turn, and you don't want to play things on your turn.
See, the weird. I was. This is obviously like more relevant in this set because you are trying to cast multiple
Yeah.
things in one turn. But so it weirdly hurts a deck that has a medium amount of plotting, right? Because if you have a medium amount of plotting, then you plot something, and then when you get to cast it for free, you can't double spell that turn. But if a deck has a bunch of plotting, it doesn't care because when it's casting what it plotted, it just plots something else, right? Which is not casting a spell. Although it does perpetuate the issue, I guess. So it slows down your opponent approximately one turn, assuming they have any plotting going on, or are like a tempo or aggro deck. And then it's five mana for 5 damage to anything is good.
Yeah, I mean,
To anything.
it is it exists to slow down the game and give you guaranteed like removal, or they're spending a card to kill an enchantment, which like whatever, which you could even activate this in response to, depending on if you had the mana, which would be very late game, but Um,
I wonder if there is something about white red where you can like intentionally try to take advantage of this. White is like the don't cast spells color, one of them, right?
yeah.
Um, because like cashing this
What
in
it
for
it's
5 to an opponent's
red.
face.
Yeah, red all only care about prime and hitting them in the face.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a weird one.
Play one thing every turn.
Yeah, this is
Like
a
like
weird one for sure.
it is weird because it costs like this is also kind of like a weirdly late game.
I
Like
mean,
maybe you're like
it,
1, 2, 3 cost, play like another 2 cost and this, and then do this
no, no, no,
like
no,
turn
no,
six,
no, no,
turn
no.
5 or turn 6.
Oh, you mean just to cash it in? Yeah, the whole temptation is that it does 5 to face. Like it is rare to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
card.
yeah.
It is rare to get a card that does 5 to face, and it's
Yeah.
not overcosted to do it. Um,
The question is how good, like how good does that by itself make this
yeah,
card?
it's
Like big
almost like
factor.
I want to justify the 2 mana versus the first ability. Like that needs to do something for me in order to get the second part of it. Um,
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, this is a weird one. This is like build around challenge. Let us know if you're able to make use of this card. I'm gonna try it. I'll try it. I'll
Yeah,
try
yeah. I
it.
don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's insane. Like, is this just
I'm not rating
as
this. I'm not rating this. I'm
easy?
not rating this. This is a try it and find out of 5. Try it and find out of 10. Just get out there, see what's going on. And I don't care about this. And like, this is actually decent in like Commander. Like people play Silence or whatever. You know, there's an enchantment that costs
Yeah,
1
yeah.
white that has the first ability. So like, are you willing to pay 1 more mana to like get to cash it in for 5 damage? Probably not, because
Absolutely.
someone could win. All right, was that yours or mine?
That was mine.
Okay, one last job. I get a spree. 2 and a white. That's an expensive start for a sorcery. That's expensive. 2 mana additional. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Okay. Just straight up reanimate for 5. Return target mount or vehicle card from your graveyard to the battlefield for only 1 additional. Okay. And then another 1 additional. Return target aura or equipment card from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to a creature you control. So for the low cost of 6 mana, you get a triple reanimate, assuming you have a creature, a mount or a vehicle, and an aura or equipment card. But the aura does have to attach to a creature you control, which means it's a tap down aura, you're probably not into it. This is
Like
expensive all around.
this is a commander out of 5 and a weird commander out of 5.
Yeah, like in limited, in order for you to feel good about this, you're having to pay 6 mana minimum, so I'm pretty off. I mean, I guess as a 5 mana reanimate, I'm off of this. I don't. Yeah. What is this? Is like a D in limited. Yeah, and it's
Bad.
not good. It's not good enough for anything else. It's like on its face, not even good enough for limited, and it's not doing something like crazy powerful. I mean,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Commander,
I
you can
mean,
pay 4 and reanimate every single enchantment in your graveyard to replenish. You know.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
why do we care about this?
Yeah, who
Oh,
doesn't have that much
we're to
money sitting
blue.
around?
We're to blue.
Yeah. Archmage's Newt. 1 and a
Newt.
blue. It's a salamander mount, 2/2. Whenever Archmage's Newt deals combat damage to a player, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. The flashback cost is equal to the mana cost. That card's that card gains flashback 0 if this card is saddled.
Everywhere you look, there's a Snapcaster Mage.
Or-
Um,
Yeah.
so the dream, the absolute dream, is turn. Even though Shock's not in this format, turn 1 Shock, turn 2 Newt, turn 3 something that has 3 power, saddle the Newt, hit them, use Shock again on something
Just shoot
that
something.
they didn't block with this thing.
Yeah.
I
I mean, because it
I don't
says
like this.
combat damage to a player, it's just bad.
Yeah, I don't think you're ever really doing this. Like
Yeah, you're
when
never
when
actually
you,
making this happen
you
because
have
they're
to make
bad,
this fly or something. You have to have
right?
something that makes this evasive because even
This should
even like you play this, you have to then cast an instant or sorcery and then attack through them, but
yeah.
then have enough mana to cast that instant or sorcery again to then hit something that they didn't block you with. Yeah, I'm off of it.
This card is a D plus.
Yeah, it's like a C minus. It's a
It's
bear.
basically it's a bear. It's
It's a
a
bear.
bear at
Mar- mar-
best most of the time.
marginal upside. All right, you're good.
Notes you.
Double down, 3 in a blue, enchantment. Whenever you cast an outlaw spell, copy that spell. Yes. Yes, I would play this. I would play this. This seems good. This is like the this is called double down, whatever that man, I can't remember the name of it. I've been out of Magic for too long. That the zombie enchantment that costs this much that copies all zombies when you play them.
I don't know that spell. I don't zombie about.
Yeah, it was a good one that got printed. I don't know, like a couple years ago, and it's worth some money because of its application in Commander. So yeah, I would play this in
Sounds good.
Limited, and I would play this in Commander if you want to make a deck around any of these things in
That does
blue.
any of those things.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think this card is just good. I mean, there's so many outlaws in this set, so
it doesn't unlegendary them, so like you can't like
it would be
copy or
shocking. It'd be shocking if you didn't have more than 5 or 6 outlaws.
oh yeah, in this set, yeah.
Yeah,
So
in this
this
set.
is this
So
is this is probably like an A minus. It is pretty slow. Like it does nothing for one turn, but then theoretically it will make it up for it immediately in the next turn. Oh,
yeah,
especially if you've plot.
more like a
Oh no, you plot outlaws.
yeah,
This
of
is
course.
this
And
is
then
even better
you play
than
this and do the
unplot
same
it.
turn. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this is even better because of plotting, right? Okay. Yeah, this is probably
I
like
think
an
this
A
is
then.
more like an
This
A
is like an A.
minus, but like I do think it's good.
Yeah, you just want obviously as many outlaws and then
It's
also as many
just so
plot
innately slow,
plot
but
outlaws. Yeah, cool
the
card.
payoff
Cool card.
is intense.
Oh, this is the
Yeah.
this is Nathan or whatever the winner. This is the world's winner card.
Duelist.
Yeah, Nathan
Oh,
Stoyer. There it is at the bottom. Go ahead.
okay, okay. Yeah, Duelist of the Mind, 1 in a blue, Humid Advisor. It's X and 3, Flying Vigilance, Duelist of the Mind power is equal to the number of cards drawn this turn.
Yeah.
So it's essentially a 99% of the time a 1/3 Flying Vigilance for 2. Whenever you commit a crime, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Oh, shit.
That only triggers once each turn.
Yeah, it only triggers once each turn, but that's still like,
I mean, it's not just one 99% of the time. It's 100% of the time, and like and like 20% of the time, it's more than that.
sure, sure. I mean, that's a different way to phrase it, but I mean, yeah, I think the committing in the crime thing I clearly hadn't read already, but yeah, no, I think this card is just good. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm playing this in limited for sure. This is
Yeah,
very
I
good
mean,
in limited.
is this like A worthy?
Probably not, but
It's
yeah,
just like
it could maybe sneak to A minus.
you
There's probably like
love
a B plus.
you love a good 2 drop. I
It's
mean,
a great
not
two
you, but
drop.
like
Yeah,
generically, like this is just an
yeah.
excellent 2 drop.
Oh,
You
I
want
do
a
love a
good
good
2
two
drop
drop.
in your deck. So like, I think this is about as much as you can hope for your 2 drop to do.
Yeah, well, it's not like that. It's good, but like, how much better is this than like the 2/2 for 1 and a green that if you play something bigger than it, it grows and investigates? Like that was like an A
Yeah,
minus two drop
that
from the
card is
last set.
nuts. Yeah,
Yeah, it was very good. I'm just like giving it.
current
Obviously
set.
these are very different cards, but I would still just say this is like an A minus, a very
Yeah,
strong B plus, A minus, something like that.
I'm just saying, like you're
The
always taking this if you're in blue.
I wonder about older form. I mean, obviously you can only brainstorm in vintage, and this probably isn't vintage level, but like this is pretty funny with brainstorm, right? It's a 4/3 if you brainstorm because you draw 3. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know. It's like every time a world champion card comes out, it's like a mind game between the champion and R&D to see if they can sneak in something broken or not.
or just
Um,
Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, yeah. Wheel of Fortune in Commander. Yeah, I don't think it gets there in any older or like any other formats, to be honest. Fibblethip lost on the range. Fibblethip is back. 1 and 2 blue for a homunculus. Ward 2, 1/1. Better be good. It's legendary. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. The top card of your library has plot. The plot cost is equal to its mana cost. You may plot non-land cards from the top of your library. Right. It doesn't let you play lands off the top of your library, which would be sweet. Would you play this unlimited?
Yeah.
Probably, right?
Yeah.
As long as you get to plot
So
one thing, you're probably happy.
it's
No, you have to
I
plot
think
two things.
this is essentially a card draw engine, and I think that's always good enough and limited because it's only asking 2 mana to do it.
It's
I'm
asking
never
three
mad
mana.
at.
It's asking 3 mana to do it.
Oh, sorry, my phone is in front of the mana cost. It is 3 mana, in fact.
Yeah.
Um,
If it was 2 mana, I would be much more into this, much
yeah,
more
yeah,
willing
yeah,
to lean
yeah,
into
yeah,
this.
yeah.
But it's
Yeah,
fragile. Like this would be much better as an enchantment, right?
it's
Like
hard.
rather than a 1/1.
It has word 2, but we've seen
But
removal that is
but it's
quite
basically
weak.
not developing the board. I think it's just like objectively worse than it being an enchantment, right? And we would say an enchantment isn't developing the board. So I don't think we can say this isn't this is developing the board.
Well, obviously, yeah,
I guess it
obviously.
can chump in an
Never,
extreme emergency,
this,
right?
yes, this is never being used after being. This is an
Oh,
enchantment
I don't think this is great. I think this is
that
like
also
a
has other
C.
removal.
It's like a C, and you have to. So like in red blue with a ton of removal somehow. I'm probably into this. Can you
Yeah,
plot spree cards? How does that work?
it's a great question.
Uh, I kind
I
of want to
guess,
look it
I
up.
guess you, I guess you would plot. I mean, that maybe they're ideal because you plot them for usually 1, and then maybe you can pay additional when they are cast from exile. But this
Yeah, or do
make
you just?
a shit ton of sense.
I wonder if there's even a ruling on it. How does plot work with additional cost? So without paying its mana cost as an alternate casting cost, spree is an additional cost. So okay, okay. So I think you just play the additional costs when you're casting it from exile. So it does work with
Yeah,
spree, but it's not like free. But you still would get to. That actually makes I think sprees even more broken because you actually get to break
yeah,
up the cost, right? Because you're like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I pay
yeah.
3 now, and then
And this is the only card that's relevant for at this point. But yes,
but it also doesn't let you cast them as instants because you can only unplot as a sorcery. Um,
yeah, and a lot of them are instants
yeah.
and
So
very good as instants.
I still think this is like a C.
Yeah, I think it's probably a C plus, but
Okay. Yeah, if you can
yeah.
play around it. All right, here we go. Oh, Geralf coming in hot.
Geralf, the Flesh
The
Right,
flesh
2
right.
blue. It's a warlock, 2/3. Whenever you cast a spell during your turn other than your first spell that turn, create a 2/2 black or blue and black zombie rogue creature token.
All right.
Whenever a zombie enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on it for each other zombie that entered the battlefield under your control this turn.
And that bottom part is completely static, so it doesn't care
Yeah,
a hoot if it's the one making the zombies. If you have anything that's generating zombies, and this thing is a mythic, um, it is a
so
flesh right, not a flesh light. To be clear, um, I I mean, how? So it every time you cast a spell past the first
Second
one.
spell. Yeah.
No, 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 not just second. Not just second. Everyone past the second.
Yeah.
How good do you think this is?
This is hard because like so you're basically only playing this on more like 4 or 5 because either you're plotting something on 3 and then playing this on 4 and then unplotting something,
Or if you had plot
or
for 2. There's things that plot for 2.
sure, but not as nearly as many as
Yeah.
3s. Um,
Definitely better with early plot. I mean,
this
it's
is
just
a
the two.
it's
It's
a
just a 2-3 for 3.
it's a it's a B minus.
I think it's like a B. If this thing makes 2/2/2s, which isn't unreasonable, and you can Yahtzee it twice
Yeah.
in a
It,
turn, like
it,
that's
if you're
doable.
playing cacophony and just have this on the side, like
Oh, well, here's a fun question. How greedy are you? Imagine you do get to plot on 2, and you play this on 3, but if you don't unplot next turn, you can triple spell.
ooh, ooh. I
Triple
appreciate the greed.
triple spell. So you get a 2/2
I
and a
appreciate
3/3.
the greed. Yeah, I mean it's certainly a possibility.
Yeah,
I love
is
the idea of also winning by having like 3 spree cards in hand and just paying the 1 to cast them out of your hand, but not actually using any of their abilities.
you can't do that. I think you have
Can you
to
not?
you have to play
You
one
have to
one or
pay
more additional.
an
I'm pretty sure.
additional.
Yeah, I'm
Interesting.
pretty sure you have. It says cast with one or more uh things.
Yeah, well,
So
that's important text. Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
In Commander, this thing is just
I'm being
awesome.
silly.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
In Commander, this thing is obviously if you're running a zombie deck, you now have a new mythic that you need to get. So have fun with
Yes,
that.
yes.
But
It's annoying
yeah,
that this is honestly not blue-black.
I think this is like B or B plus, honestly, unlimited.
I think it's a B minus. It's just
Yeah,
because, like,
we'll see. We'll see how wrong you are. The key to the
yeah,
vault. One in a blue. Wait, was that me? No, that was you. One in a blue. This is the card I think you get for free in the bundle. It's like the signature card of the set. One in a blue for legendary artifact equipment. When equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, look at that many cards from the top of your library. You may exile a non-land card from among them. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You may cast the exile card without paying its mana cost. It equips for
lot.
3, which is a lot.
That is a lot of equip cost.
So so I'm going to paint like the only way that I play this card. And that is if I have a ton of flyers and a decent bit of
It is in
removal.
blue. It is in blue.
It's like, do you want to take a really good deck that has flyers and removal and make it a little worse? Well, you're in luck because you can afford to play this card. Even though it makes your deck a little worse, you can at least kind of make this card work to win more.
Yeah, and I feel when this card works, it is
It's
such an
hilarious.
unbelievable ass beating,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Like,
it's most of the time a dead card in your hand.
yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not playing this in limited because even in the deck that can use it, it's just making the deck worse. So, it's like an F. It is combat damage. It's not any damage. I don't know about other formats. I mean, this is always tempting, right? This is tempting to put in a commander deck.
Yeah, this is a card that makes I see it, I draft it, and I'm upset about it.
Yeah,
But I still
I'm
draft
talking
it.
about commander now. Like this is tempting in
Oh,
commander,
sorry, sorry,
right?
sorry, sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. In Commander for sure.
It's tempting
In like some weird Voltron-y deck,
because someone's probably not going to have a
maybe
blocker,
even.
right? Someone's not going to have a
Yeah,
blocker, so maybe you
yeah.
can build like an
Like
equipment,
what?
maybe some Cigar Aid or Pure Steel
Yeah,
Paladins, something white blue. I don't
uh,
know.
obviously those all go in any deck that has equipments, but like what equipment deck has blue in it? commander.
Well, I'm just saying you would want. I think you build like white
It
blue
is a legendary
artifacts.
artifact.
Yeah, you build
It's a
like white
legendary
blue
artifact.
artifacts, but your twist on it because there's so many cards now. You could definitely build white blue artifact equipments because white is like one
Somehow,
of the
yeah.
most Voltron-y colors already, and already cares about equipments the most, right? Sigarda A's, Pure Steel Paladin, all this sort of stuff. So you're like drawing cards, casting them for free, equipping them for free. Um, and then we also know white blue is huge into artifacts, so I think you could do something fun there that actually is pretty good with this.
Yeah, you're playing this in the what is the Dominaria United command 5-color commander?
I'm not playing this
The
5 color
one
commander.
the Cascade one that cascades off of
Yeah, yeah.
legendaries.
That's funny. Yeah, Joda. That was
Yeah,
Joda. The
yeah,
Joda legendary.
Joda. Like who cares what
Yeah.
you're playing? It's another Cascade trigger.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is a generically silly card, right? But I would actually try to this tempts me to want to build some artifact Voltron-y
Yeah.
nonsense and
This pulls another
Azurius.
Signet out of your deck.
Yeah, yeah. All right, here you go.
Step Between the Worlds. It's 5, 3, and 2 blue sorcery. Each player may shuffle their hand and graveyard into their library. Each player who does draw 7 cards, exile Step Between the Worlds, and you can plot it for 6.
Whoa. So they are suggesting,
Uh,
if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken here, they're suggesting they'll allow a zero cost time twister if you plot it for six first.
I think this is more than a suggestion.
That's what they're suggesting. How good is that? This is Magic doing a take on Lorcana's A Whole New World, which is a take on Magic's on Magic's Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of
Um,
Fortune, the good version of this.
but it's free. But that's the thing about A Whole New World and Lorcana is like it costs 5, but yes, you can also cast it for free. This costs
Yeah,
6, but yes, you can also cast it for
can
free.
be for free.
Free Time Twister
Um,
is kind of nutty.
yeah, I mean, I think
You're not
I
playing
think
this
I'm
limited.
definitely
I'm sorry. I did the thing. I get a counter. I get a wait this way. I get a counter.
yeah, yeah,
In
yeah.
Commander, this is
I'm
nonsense. I'm not. Or in Limited, this is nonsense. I'm not playing this. I'm not playing this
Yeah,
in
well,
Limited.
you're never wanting to give your opponent 7 cards.
I'm never wanting to do
Limited.
that. I'm never wanting
Ever,
to do
ever,
this
ever, ever, ever.
in
It's
Limited.
never good enough. Unless your deck is so absolutely bonkers that you're like, it doesn't matter what 7 cards they get, it's never going to be better
you,
than 7 cards I get,
you
which is like, so like if you are if you're in the upper echelon of
you
limited drafting,
I
like
would only
sure, maybe there's a world where you can take this, but it is so few and far in between.
I
Like,
would only take
yeah,
this. I'd only take this if I got a second one and the whole rest of my deck was 1 and 2 drops. So I can just try to like, and maybe like a couple draw spells. So I just try to like dump my hand, draw into
dump,
this,
dump, dump,
cycle
dump.
everything,
Yeah,
like make my
yeah,
opponent discard 4 effectively when they do this, and I'm
every
discarding
time.
0.
Yeah.
Um,
They're like, I'm gonna play bombs, and you're like, counter, redraw your
yeah,
hand.
yeah, yeah, which would be epic. You could get 2 of these, right? These are gonna get passed pretty late,
For
I
sure.
would
You
think.
would
So
hope.
you could
Yeah.
definitely get 2 of these and do the thing, which would be hilarious to actually do that in limited.
Yeah.
That's like another like challenge.
Yeah.
Play all 1 and 2
Link,
drops.
link a video in the comments.
Yeah, yeah. If you're able to do that, I'll try it.
Uh,
I'll try it. Um, Preferably at the lower ranks. But is this good enough in older formats? I don't know. Because remember, plotting is
I don't
also
think
not
so.
counterable. Plotting is also not counterable.
Accelerating to 6 is so nuts in something that has blue in it.
Oh, you're playing this in a very controlly deck.
Sure, but, like obviously in Commander drawing 7 is
Yeah,
cool and
how about
all.
Commander? It costs 0. I'm really fascinated with a 0 cost Wheel of Fortune. Obviously. But think about. I think this is probably pretty nuts in Commander. Right?
Yeah, maybe if you have like any kind of acceleration spell to do this, and your whole thing is just
You're
like
playing Commander. You've.
filtering.
I mean, I know it's been a while since we played Commander. You've played Dockside Extortionist. What do you mean if you're ramping? Like, think of actual high end Commander. 6 mana is nothing. It's nothing. Six
Yeah.
mana is
I
nothing.
mean,
I played Soul Ring and Mana Crypt. You know.
literally I could play this in my Arcane Bombardment deck, like
Yeah, this goes in Arcane Bombardment, right? Why would it
for
not?
sure. Well, yeah, no, it definitely does because I can just do
Oh yeah,
this.
with your
Uh,
commander too. Your commander allows you to do
it
this.
just yeah, turn three I can do this
Yeah.
basically all the time.
Your commander can't doesn't help you plot it, which is kind of lame. But
There are places where I could do this turn three.
I mean, it is just Time Twister for 2 more mana. First of all, which is a Power 9 card. Last I checked, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, but just plotting it. I don't think this is ever relevant in older or stronger formats you because of the fact that you cannot play this that turn unless you're playing it for five.
No,
The plot aspect of it is not
no.
like
The plot the whole thing is like if you wheel 7, to have spent no mana doing it is such a massive advantage. Like you wouldn't even want to unplot this the turn that you plot it because you've used your mana. You want to have access because then you can defend it with counters. Like that's why it costing 0 is so broken.
sure. I'm saying like in an early turn you could have 6 mana enough to plot this fairly consistently and high power commander, but like having 7, 8 to then counter. Like obviously there are free counters, but like that's still like
What are you
harder
talking
to
about?
a lot harder to ask.
Oh, you're saying
I'm saying
you just hardcast this? What are you
that's what
saying?
I'm saying. That's what. But the point is like I feel like in in that level, do you even give a shit about casting this the next turn? Like, because at best, if you're talking about plotting this, are you even going to get to the point where you can pay for this free plot the next turn you care about it? If you're at that
What
level,
do you mean pay for this free plot?
like I'm saying, like essentially turning it up or using it this next turn. If you're paying the plot cost, like if you're paying the 6, do you even give a shit about paying or not paying and having this free cast the next turn?
Why are you not? That's the whole reason you did it. Yes, that's what you're interested in. You're interested in playing a Time Twister with all of your mana open. That's so much better than spending any mana to Time Twister. Because it's all about what you do with those 7 cards, right? You want as much mana
Yeah,
as possible because you should just
I don't know.
win.
I have to see it in
You should
practice.
just win the
See it in
game.
practice.
You you
They're
should,
still drawing 7.
huh?
They're still drawing 7.
Yeah, I mean your opponents could just, but they don't know. They might not draw any counters. Are they just also not spending any mana on their turn at all? So you're just bored. You're just locking the entire board until your next turn. Because if they spend mana, then they're not doing
Maybe.
anything.
We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's good. I think it's good. This Time Twister. This is your go, right? I think. Took 20 minutes on that card.
Yeah. Stoic Sphinx. 2 and 2 blue. Sphinx 5/3. Flash flyer. Stoic Sphinx has hexproof as long as you haven't cast a spell this turn. Interesting. Um,
That works on your opponent's turn as well.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, this is gross, right? You just flash that into the end of your opponent's turn, and you're like, it has hexproof now for forever. Because if your because think of this,
Right.
if your
This is
opponent is
because you're assuming they're tapped out.
right, because if they're tapped out when you flash this in at the end of their turn, then you also get to cast your next turn for free because you don't have to worry about them doing anything, right?
Because, yeah, when it gets back to their turn,
It's hexproof.
it's still a hexproof.
And then you can just keep it hexproof for its next attack minimum because then you can still. So it doesn't tax you from playing spells at all. Because if you flash this at the end of their turn and they're tapped out, you get a free cast then and an attack. And then your next turn, you can attack again and just play second main. It's hit them for 10. It costs
How upset?
4.
How upset would you be? I'm reading this extra text. It says, "Lucky travelers reported a mighty winged creature among the geysers. Unlucky ones didn't make it back. How upset would you be to be mauled by a sphinx with a mustache?"
Yeah, you're like chilling by some geysers. Just this sphinx comes out of nowhere and just knocks you across, knocks you into the geyser.
This sphinx looks like a gay daddy that I'd be very upset to get groped by in a club.
He's gonna sass you for sure.
For sure. He's no stoic sphinx.
This card is brutal, man. I think this is like an A plus. This is an A plus.
It's just very good.
This is
a 5/3 flyer.
Terrible to play against. This is like the definition of terrible. If you do not have reach or flying, you're
in trouble.
You're hating it.
One second.
This might be.
So I'm laughing because John's having a cackle fit over here, and I'm giggling because there's this video that we love that is of this like Zoomer reenacting a moment in Beyonce's concert where she's singing what's the name of the song? Oh, the song is Diva, but during the song she goes, "She ain't no diva." But in her concert, she started pointing at someone, and it was someone in the front row. And the the woman's like, "What the fuck?" Like, because Beyonce's like, "She ain't no diva," and then keeps on saying, "She ain't no diva."
This woman's
just pointing at this poor.
She's like, "Why are you hating?"
This bitch paid thousands of dollars to be in the front row of Beyonce, and she's like, "What the fuck did I do?"
Getting called out by Beyonce.
Yeah.
Beyonce had a read on her.
Yeah, John said she went.
Oh, that's great. I think this card actually has like some potential in like standard or something.
Maybe
the weird thing is
it's a lot of damage. It's 5 damage.
The weird thing is though is like it makes you want to play instance, but if you do play instance, even on future turns, it makes it vulnerable during your opponent's turn, right? So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's probably not good enough in older formats.
And if you're playing this, you're playing instance
or any formats.
In that.
Yeah. Wait, is this me? No, this is you.
3 steps
Here it is.
ahead.
The modal counter spree.
Let's see it. All right, so 1 blue, an additional 1 and a blue to counter target spell. Not great. For 4, 1 blue, create a token that's a copy of target artifact or creature you control permanently. And for 3, for 2, but 1 and a 2 colorless. Draw 2 cards, then discard a card.
So this is just much worse than that like awesome card from Strixhaven or whatever. Like choose 1 or more, and it's like counter a spell, copy a thing, copy an ability, draw 2 cards or something like that, and it costs 6. So this is like, I don't always cost 6, but otherwise I'm a worse version than that card because I cost a lot. It costs 8 all in, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So for 8 mana, you counter a spell. You create a token that's only that you control. Yeah. I'm kind of off this. I guess the draw 2 discard. Maybe if I just ignore the copy thing and just think that this can either counter a spell.
Draw 2, discard a card.
That's probably fine. Yeah,
I think that's fine, especially in blue-black where you care about graveyards. Like,
yeah, this is probably fine. But this is like I'm
C+. For sure playing this in limited.
This is like a C+ though in limited, right? It's like a C+.
Yeah, it's only a C plus, and like obviously you don't want to be countering for 3 by itself,
I may be the
which is
most
when I feel like be relevant.
I
But
may be
like,
the most interested in this in Simic, just because then its middle ability is also more relevant, right? Like I copy a big green thing. Just having access to that mode as being
yeah,
good uh,
yeah,
would be cool. So yeah, I think this is. I still just think it's like a C plus though. It's like a C plus.
agreed, agreed.
Okay. Cost. Oh, we made it to black. Woo!
All right,
Let's just try to do black quicker and then finish
heard.
for the night. All right. Caustic Bronco. One in a black for a 2/2. When Caustic, it's a mount. This is the first black mount,
Yep.
right? There was like none at common and
Yeah,
uncommon. I don't
there's.
think.
I don't think there was a single one.
Yeah. When it attacks, reveal the top card of your library and put it into your hand. Okay. You lose life equal to its mana value if it isn't saddled. Otherwise, each opponent loses that much life. Okay. So it's dark confidant got it like that, and it's on attack, so it doesn't have to damage, and it does saddle for 3, which isn't nothing. But yeah, in limited, you're just playing this on 2. You're playing a 3 drop that has 3 power. You're immediately saddling it, drawing a card, and hopefully draining them for like 3 or more, right? Or not draining them, just damaging
Yeah,
them for 3 or more, which is broken. That is broken for
and
your
on
2/2 for
attack,
2. Yeah.
like this is brutal.
Yeah, God forbid they can't kill it.
I am shocked this card does not say like does player damage or something. Like it would be bad, obviously, but like I feel like so many of cards like this they would put that text on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is clearly pushed for that. So yeah, this is like a B plus in limited, A minus maybe, because presumably it's
Yeah.
dying fast. You just want it to do its thing once is really all that can be
But
expected.
we've seen a lot of cards in black that give a shit about things being in the graveyard. Obviously, you're in black with this card, so like if this
You
is
can
replacing
reanimate it.
itself and doing 3 or 4 damage to them,
Yeah. Oh
cool.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, again, it's like a B plus A minus. It's not like broken unless
Yeah.
you have some way to also protect this. That would be pretty broken. Oh, here's the broken play. Here's the broken play. You play the green guy, like the 3/2 for 2 on turn 3, even though plotting him's obviously broken, and then you hold up snakeskin veil. No. You do just plot him to pump this, and you just take the life hit the first time and hold up
Yeah,
snakeskin
yeah,
veil.
yeah, 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 yeah. And then play it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then play it and saddle it to keep yourself from losing life.
yeah,
So yeah, I guess in black green, to your point, in black green where you can like snakeskin veil, or there's that white card that can also protect this. Just protect it the first time you attack. Don't worry about saddling it, because it still draws you a card every turn. Like
yeah.
worst case scenario, right? You're losing life. But...
Still drawing you a card.
So yeah, this is
If you're
this
on
is
the
like an A
play,
minus.
or if you're going first, like
Yeah,
card is just nuts.
yeah. I think this is like an A minus, but I'm really interested in protecting it if at all possible. Pumping it.
Sure.
Was that you?
Gisa.
Yeah, that was me. You got Gisa. Boy, you got
Yeah.
Gerald and Gisa.
Hell right. Gisa the Hellraiser,
Hillary.
3 and 2 black. Uh, legendary creature, human warlock, 4/4. Ward 2, pay 2 life.
Steep.
It's a lot. Skeletons and zombies you control get +1/+1 and have menace. So it's a Giga Lord. Whenever you commit a crime, create 2 tap 2/2 blue and black zombie rogues. Who gives a shit that it triggers once each turn?
Why not?
This is an S plus.
Yeah. I'm very excited to lose to my opponent in the pre-release seal that has both Gisa and Gerald in the deck.
Honestly.
That would be hilarious. So obviously you want things that commit
I
crimes for
can't
free.
wait for someone to plot something and play this and unplot it. Which is
Yeah.
gonna happen a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and just so like that toad, the 2/1 toad that gives something -3 attack, when it attacks, that commits a crime for free.
Yep.
So you'd be definitely interested in creatures that can trigger free crimes. Because if you're able to
Yeah.
slam this and immediately commit a crime, that's just game, right? Because those are 3/3s,
Yeah.
by the way.
Those are 3/3s
They're
with
tapped.
menace. They're 3/3s with menace.
Oh yeah, they're so for 5 mana you make a 4/4 and 2/3/3s with menace. Is that good? Yeah, that seems
And
pretty good.
and all of them are outlaws,
They are also all outlaws. This is
including
also an
this.
outlaw. Yeah, my goodness, this earns the name Gisa for sure, and it's got
Yep.
good ward as well. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is an S plus, S plus
An S
plus.
plus. An
Up,
S plus.
you're upset to see it.
Yep. Yep.
You're upset to see it.
Oh,
Insatiable
I
avarice.
love
Oh, I get it. I get it.
and the name of this card
Yeah, it's
too makes me
amazing.
so wet.
It's 1 black
Yeah.
sorcery spree
It's
plus
it's
2.
giving Mangyaku Sharingan.
Yeah, that's true.
It's giving Itachi.
Yep. Search your library for a card for 3 mana, shuffle it, and put it on top. Oh, so it's a much more expensive Empiric Tutor sorcery. That's not great. But you can also play 3 black to draw 3 cards and lose 3 life. Really? You're over the moon about this?
No,
Because the
by
art.
itself, the name, the art, that's it. I didn't give a shit what it said.
Okay, fair. I don't think I'm playing this in limited, really. I guess if you have like a whole drain, if you were gaining life because you're draining them and you're in Orzhov or something, but also
I don't
think
know,
you can
dude.
pay 3 black.
I'm not upset about paying 3 black, losing 3 life, and drawing 3 cards.
You have to be heavy black, and it's like an aggro. We're assuming it's going to be an aggro format because every format's aggro. So like, when are you taking time off to be like, I'm gonna play 3 black mana and draw 3
But
cards?
that's what I'm saying. If it's a super aggressive format, and you are super aggressive and in black,
Okay,
in two,
that's
that's what I'm saying.
very narrow. That's very narrow.
Sure,
That's
but
very
that's what I'm saying.
narrow.
I can very much see this card being relevant because like I can see having thrown a bunch of shit into the other player, being low on cards after dumping my hand, and then
Yeah, I'm off it.
drawing 3 cards and being happy.
D.
I mean, I think I don't think it's a D. I think it's a C
I
minus.
think it's a D.
I don't think it's a D.
I'm never playing this. I'm never playing this. Like, you have to be so black to even like so deep into black to like, when are you casting through? I guess you're casting this turn 6. That's the idea. Like, turn 6 you
Yeah.
play this.
Yes, that's definitely what I mean.
And then also not being able to cast anything because if you are in big if you're in 2 colors and you're heavy in black, if you have 4 black by turn 6, then you might be able to cast something because you should probably be drawing primarily black cards because you're heavy in black. So on turn 6, you're drawing 3 cards, losing 3 life, and maybe being able to play one thing. Yeah, no, I'm off it.
I'm not saying this is broken. I
We'll
gave it a
see
C
it.
minus.
Yeah, I give it a D. Not playing it. You're good.
Caverick the Punisher, 1 and 2 black, not a double black. Human Warlock, 3/3. Whenever you commit a crime, exile up to 1 target black card from your graveyard and copy it. You may cast the copy if you do lose 2 life.
1 target black card, any black card, instant sorceries,
Yeah.
permanents.
Yep. Yep. You
And
have to cast it,
exile it.
and you lose 2 life.
So again, you want free ways to commit crimes, right? So that you have your mana freed up to do this thing. That little frog is going up in my estimation. Yeah, like this.
This is
I guess
weird.
this is pretty good. I guess you want cheap black. There wasn't really any cheap black removal, was there? They had that
Not
one
really.
that kills non-outlaws, which seems pretty bad. I'm not sure if that's playable. And then there was 2 different 4-cost ones. There was one destroy for 4 that was like a spree, and then there was that straight up exile for 4. So you specifically want to be in red black with like cheaper removal. Oh, there's the minus two minus two. The minus two for two in black.
Yes, yes, that it makes is better with deserts.
Yeah. So hold on. Can you double cast that? I think you can double cast it. Because I think it triggers itself. So like I'm not 100% on this, but I think if you have let's say you play this on 3 on turn 4, I think you can play the minus two. It goes to the graveyard. This triggers. No. Yeah.
No, you
'Cause-
exile, but you exile it. Exile
oh
from
wait,
your
it's
graveyard.
targeting. It's since
Whenever
it's
you commit a crime, exile up to one target black
yeah.
card from your
I
graveyard
understand
and
what it
copy
does.
it.
I understand what it does. I'm trying to figure out if the timing, if the card that committed to the crime makes it to the graveyard for you to target it. It
Oh, I would
triggers.
assume because it triggers, and then you may
I don't
cast the
think.
next one, and then the next one would go on a stack.
I don't think it
The
goes.
stack resolve.
No. It does. Yeah. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Yeah.
Really?
It doesn't work. No, because this triggers on target, which means it triggers on cast. And when the card is cast, it doesn't go to the graveyard until it resolves. And this trigger will
But
go
it
on the stack on top of it. So this trigger will resolve before your spell that's committing the crime resolves. Because see, it says targeting opponents and anything they control. You target when you cast, not on resolution. So this is a cast trigger.
okay.
So since this is a cast trigger, this ability will go on the stack and resolve before your crime committing spell resolves. So
Weird.
it's on the stack and doesn't work. That would maybe be too strong. I'm pretty sure that's right though. So yeah, this is like a B minus.
I would
Maybe
have to believe you.
this is like a B minus.
Is it that good? I don't feel like it's that good.
I mean, it depends how many free ways you have to commit a crime.
I mean, I think there's a lot of ways to commit a crime, but the fact that you're having to like,
because it works with the toad, right? You can still do the thing as long as you have something. You can pay the minus two, then attack with the toad and this. The toad triggers, commits another crime, then
sure.
allows you to do this.
You're
So
also losing 2 life.
yeah, I'm not like
You have
super
to
hung
have a
up.
decent amount of setup
I'm
for
not
it.
like super hung up about that. Yeah, it's got a little bit of
You
hoops.
it's got too many hoops for limited for me
Yeah, maybe.
to be a B.
I want to try it.
Even.
You need ways to commit. I think you're black blue for sure, because blue loves committing crimes, which we've seen. But
Yeah,
then,
for sure.
but it's only casting black cards too. Yeah, I don't know.
I think this is a C.
Yeah, maybe. Right, here we go.
Pitiless Carnage.
Pitiless.
3 and a black sorcery. Sacrifice any number of permanents you control, then draw that many cards, and you can plot it for 1 and 2 black. I mean,
Any number of permanents.
This is really cool for Commander.
Yeah, not non-lands. Is this playable and limited if you like can crank out a lot of mercenaries? Because like in the late game, I could see like sack 2 mercenaries, sack 2 lands, right? And you have all your mana up because you plotted this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it's still probably not.
I mean, I'm
limited.
not high on it, but
It's
I
like
think I think it's playable.
It's like a C or C minus probably unlimited.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
you can do something janky. I don't know. But yeah, this is interesting in other formats for sure. Sack.
This is
Yeah. Plot it, pull all your mana, sack all your permanents, draw Dockside Extortionist.
I'm thinking Orzhov and Orzhov tokens.
Oh, I'm thinking this is a huge jank combo card.
Sure.
Because it's sacrifice
Honest
any number of
magic.
permanents, by the way. Like,
Yeah,
imagine what this does
artifacts.
with Dockside. Think about you
Yeah,
play
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dockside first.
Yeah, for sure.
You're
You're playing this for free and drawing a bunch of cards.
Yeah, like 12
for
cards.
free.
Because you're sacking all, like, pull all your mana, sack all your lands. You know, this is the turn.
Shit.
You win from there.
Right.
I'm kind of surprised this isn't a mythic. It's interesting that the plot is even a discount on its actual cost. Yeah, this feels This feels kind of pushed. This could actually do a thing in Legacy, maybe. It would be like a new degenerate thing. But like it says any
Yeah.
number of permanents, and like you can probably find a way to shit out permanents in Legacy, for very little mana.
Well, I mean, you're just sacrificing Mishra's Bauble.
Yeah, I think you probably want a little more. Again, I don't know. I'm not the. I definitely net deck
I'm
Legacy
saying
and
like
then twist
even
them. But
even that's what I'm saying even
who
then,
knows?
like if you're playing a Mishra's Bauble, maybe you don't give a shit.
Yeah, yeah. Who knows? It's interesting that you can't counter plot. So it's a cool card. Probably not playable unlimited. Rush of Dread, 1 black for a sorcery. I'm really curious what LSV says about that card, by the way. Rush
Yeah.
of the Dread, 1 black for a sorcery spree. Target opponent sacrifices half the creatures they control, rounded up. Okay. Target opponent discards half of the cards in their hand, rounded up. And target opponent loses half of their life, rounded up. Okay. So for 4 mana, they sacrifice half their creatures, which is like, but it rounds up. So like 2 out of 3 for 4. That's not terrible, right? In
It's
limited,
not bad. It's not bad.
2 out of 2 isn't maybe great, but they're always going to keep the most powerful, the biggest one as well. I don't know. It seems marginal actually, because then you're never going to kill what you
Yeah, I
actually
think the
want
first one's
to.
marginal. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
you're never going to kill what you actually want to. Discarding half
Also,
their
let's
hand.
once again talk about like all the 1/1s, mercenary one
Yeah,
ones.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Good point. Target opponent discarding half the cards in their hand for 5. I'm really off of that in limited. Now losing half their life rounded up for 5. That one's interesting. Because
That one is the only one that I think is truly good for limited.
yeah, because that'll knock them from 15 to 8, and
Yeah,
you might be able to get there from or
you
sorry from
you
15 to 7. From
yeah,
15 to 7.
which
Yeah.
is kill.
Yeah, that one's interesting, but that's still 5 mana. It's still pretty clunky. I mean, even if they're at
It is a
8, it deals
sorcery.
4 to them. Like that's also not nothing. But if you are an aggressive deck, like it's less effective. Like you want to play it in an aggressive deck, right? But if you are aggressive, then it's naturally less effective. Maybe you want to play it in like some grindy value green black deck
But
that
but also if you're being super aggressive and you've played something turn 1, 2, 3, and you play this on 4 just to make them sacrifice shit so they don't have blockers, also maybe not the worst.
yeah, it's weird. This is a weird one. I'll give
It
it
is a
like a
weird one.
C. I'll give it a C. You
I think it's a B minus.
think it's a B minus?
Yeah, I'm taking this and happy about it.
Okay, maybe. I mean, I kind
I
of
might be
like the.
wrong, but I do think I like them.
I mean,
Anything
so
that's modal, I really like.
let's say you go first, and they'd go 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, and and you've played a 3 drop as well. Do you just rip this on 4 and make them sack their 1 and 2 drop? Are you happy with that? And but they still keep their 3 drop?
I think it's always dependent, but like ideally at that point, I think if they are playing 1, 2, 3 drop, then I think just holding on to this for a little bit later to get more value off of it.
Well,
Conceding
but
your turn, no matter
if
what.
no, but think about this: if you don't and they 4 drop, you're still not getting more value out of it. If you cast it then, because it still only gets 2 of them, and they're still just going to get the 1 and 2 drop.
Yeah, it's still getting the shittier drops. Yeah,
And then if they then also curve out on 5, I guess it gets 1, 2,
still a lot
and
of
3.
value.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, interesting. We'll see. We'll see. I think it's like a C. This is you. This is a good. This is a cool one. Tiny
Yeah, this is
Bones
a weird one. Tiny Bones joins up. One
joins up.
black for a legendary enchantment. When Tiny Bones,
Tiny
Tiny
Bones.
Bones joins up and enters the battlefield, any number of target players each discard a card. Whenever a legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, any number of target players each mills a card and loses a life.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
It commits a
Just not mad
crime.
about this.
It
Yeah,
commits a
it commits
crime
a crime.
immediately. It commits crimes passively if you're playing legendaries. But it immediately
Also,
goes
just
1 for 1.
paying Yeah, it immediately one for ones and like cool.
Yeah.
Past that, like any value you're getting from it, fine.
Yeah. How many legendary creatures do you actually have to? I feel like in order to play this card, though,
Three.
like, yes, it does one for one, but in order to play this card, you have to either care about crimes a lot or have a lot of legendaries and still care about crimes. Because it does do nothing. Like it's going to get a land out of their hand, right? Most like 80% of the time.
Yeah.
Or you could draw it late game and then it actually does nothing. Like it's late game fail cases misery, and I think that's what really hurts it. Um,
I think late game you're just waiting for them to go a card up on you and just forcing them to discard something.
Assuming they're not playing to the board every turn, it'll probably be a
Right.
land, right? That's what people hold in their hand. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not playing this. I don't think unless I like super care about crimes and have like you said 4 to 5 legendary creatures. Then maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, I get actual tiny bones. Tiny
You
bones
get
the
the real one. Yeah.
pickpocket. 1 black for a 1/1 death touch. C plus. Whenever Tiny
Yep.
Bones the Pickpocket deals combat damage to a player, you may cast target non-land permanent card from that player's graveyard, and mana of any type can be spent to cast a spell. So like, this is always just getting blocked. No one's allowing that to happen. Um, if you have some
It's
way to make
trading.
this not get blocked, that would be pretty cool, I guess.
The ring, tempting it with the ring.
Yes, 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 exactly. Yeah, I think it does have possibilities in like Commander and maybe even some older formats, maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I think in limited, I'd be most interesting to pair this with green again for the similar reasons as the last card that we said, just to keep it alive and make it win combats when it shouldn't. That'd be pretty lit.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like I think this is actually probably just like a C plus in limited, to be honest.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't.
Like you said, it's usually not. It's usually just getting blocked and traded off.
Yeah,
Like almost all the time.
you're definitely not like super thrilled that your mythic slot was this in limited. You're like,
Yeah. Also,
okay.
when it does get through, like, how many times are you actually able to,
Yeah, do
trade
they
it?
have something that you even care about? You know, I mean, you can use
Yeah.
mana of any type, but like if it's early game, which is when he's the most likely to hit, they're probably not going to
Yeah.
have anything to cast. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess the dream is you play like your opponent bricks their first 2 turns to like draw or something, and you just get to like cast their draw for free.
It's a C plus.
Yeah, it might even be worse, honestly. Oh, not Vladimir, Vadmir. Yours.
Admir New Blood. Small interruption, sorry.
That looked
Uh,
awful.
yeah, Vadmir New Blood. One in a black. Vampire Rogue 2/2. Whenever you commit a crime, put a 1/1 counter on Vadmir New Blood. This ability triggers only once each turn. As long as Vadmir has 4 or more 1/1 counters, it has Menace and Lifelink.
4 or more 1/1 counters. At first, I thought that was
Yeah.
4 or more power, and I was like, okay,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
could
yeah.
happen really fast and be broken.
Yeah, I mean, I think this
It's like a B
you could
plus, right?
this would be really funny in like green black or white black potentially.
I,
All the
I, I
one
think
one
blue black.
counter.
I think blue was the best color at doing crimes, and they cared about it the most.
Sure, sure. But I'm saying like even just like I think this works in blue black, white black, green black. Because you just get 1/1 counters from those as well, and
Yeah,
for sure also can commit crimes in those.
I think this
So
is this is a B plus. It's just really
yeah,
a
this is a
solid
B
2-2.
plus.
It's just a really
Just a
solid 2-2.
super solid 2/2.
Yep.
2/2 with hilariously big upside.
Yeah. Make as many crimes as you can get, fit it in there. We did it. We did it. All right. Hi everyone. We're back with Red. It's another day. I held out for continuity. Same shirt. 3 days in a row. It was laundered. Gabe, on the other hand,
I'm still
laundered.
actively laundering.
He's still actively laundering. Didn't quite make it there. All right. So these cards be having a lot of words. Hopefully, we're gonna get through the rest of them tonight. Although I do have to
Yeah,
pick up Mango at some point. Who knows
by
when?
God's grace.
All right. I'll start us off. Calamity Galloping Inferno. 4 and 2 red for a legendary creature horse mount, red mount. It's a 4/6 haste. Okay, that's coming pretty fast. And when it attacks, if it's saddled, you choose a non-legendary creature that saddled it this turn, and create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of it. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step, and repeat the process once. So you can, I assume, choose 2 different ones. This repeat the process once, I feel like we're seeing that on various cards these days, like even a few in this set. But I assume it's referencing the whole deal, the choosing and everything, not just. Yeah, I assume you get to choose something else, I guess. If there's 2 different things that saddled it, but you're probably not doing that. Probably just picking the best thing twice. So yeah, this is. I mean, this is nuts, right?
Yeah, this is an obvious bomb.
Yeah,
Um,
its saddle is just 1 to be like a minor cost, the smallest of costs.
yeah, exactly.
Just a
Yeah,
mechanism to trigger its ability.
yeah, it's still just very, very good because you're getting 3 additional attackers no matter what, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Um,
And I mentioned the other day, right, as we were getting off that that 5/4 trample that gains you 3 life on ETB for 5 in green is so broken with this because it gains you 6 and
yeah,
then has 2 5/4 tramples coming at them. Which I mean, that's just game ending,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah. Obviously, the game's over. I mean, this is also. I wonder. Surely there are non-legendary creatures that let you take extra turns for like commander.
Oh yeah, yeah. In other formats, yeah, maybe,
Like
maybe,
combat celebrant.
yeah.
Surely that's not a legendary creature.
Yeah, or you could work on like animating an artifact that does it.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be fun.
You like animate time sieve or something and get
I feel like there's got to
2
be a way
time
to
sieve.
make infinite attack steps.
They are tapped and attacking though, so that's gonna make it harder. Um,
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah, I'm sure there's some degenerate stuff you can do. I mean, it's copying stuff, so anyway, it's pretty cool for Commander. But yeah, in limited, this is like an A. I wouldn't go.
Yeah,
I don't think it's an A plus because it costs 6. Yeah, it costs 6. You could lose by then.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but if not, it will win. All right. So you're next with ooh.
All right. The Great Train Heist, red instant spree. For an additional 3, 2 and a red, untap all creatures you control. If it's your combat phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase. So for 4, an extra combat. For an extra 2, creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain first strike until end of turn. And for 1 red additional, choose target opponent. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to that player this turn, create a tapped treasure token.
So it's like funny red ramp as well.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's weird. The middle ability is what's trying to make it playable and limited, right? It's I've
Yeah,
almost never seen a rare try so hard to be playable and limited. It's like, hey,
yeah.
even if you don't want extra combat, we got this like decently priced combat trick going on, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, what do you think? Hey, we can ramp
For,
for 2 red, I guess. A little.
I mean, also in a highly aggressive deck, like where it's turn 4, you just turn everything, you tap everything and attack in, and they're like, at least I have blockers now. Like this blows them out.
Yeah, but I
Like
mean,
that.
there's that's a common. It's like
Yeah, yeah,
it's like
yeah,
a
yeah.
it's like a not great common.
But
It's like a bad common actually.
does that give it to all creatures?
It's just creatures you. What do you mean? It just gives creatures you control
I'm
+1
saying
plus
that
0 on first
comment.
strike. Yeah,
Right?
sure,
I'm saying the comment.
sure. For
Does
3
it give it
mana,
to all?
sure.
Yeah,
For
fair.
3 mana, it's like a common. It's okay. Um, you're normally into those if they start like also giving you like a clue or something, like we saw in the last set,
Yeah,
+2/+1. It's like it's a very like if we just graded it off that, just that is probably like a C in a
right.
very aggressive deck.
Yeah,
Maybe a C plus if like that's your whole game plan. Um, Maybe not even that good. Like that even might be too much. And I think that's about where this is. This is like a
yeah.
C plus,
Honestly,
C plus maybe, all taken into
yeah,
account.
yeah. Because there's some hot pie in the sky things that you could do with the first one, but
And I'm like, I guess for a bunch of mana, right? You Yahtzee the first two, that's pretty good.
yeah, yeah, that's
Um,
very strong if
because
you're at that point. Which like this could be like a
I guess
a
that's only
finisher
six mana.
for this
That's only
deck.
6 mana. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
It'll definitely end the game. It's like not as good as an overrun, but it's okay. Again, like the modality, I guess, brings it up to like a C plus. I'm like off of this in any other format, right? There's better ways to do all of these
Y-
things.
yeah, literally all of them.
All right, Hell to Pay. X and a red sorcery. Hell to Pay deals X damage to target creature. Create a number of tap treasure tokens equal to the amount of excess damage dealt to that creature this way. So we've seen this before. This is the funny way to like shoot a 1/1 to try to make a bunch of treasures.
Yeah.
Um, which I don't. Maybe that's relevant in other formats other than like in limited. This is just okay, right? This is like a C, maybe a C plus because of the treasure.
I think it's a C plus because of the treasure, because like it's also an easy way to like pseudo
But
ramp yourself by just like
kind,
if you
but the
if you
But the reason this is normally a C is because it is mana inefficient. So you're telling me I get to be more mana inefficient in order to maybe ramp myself? Like that's not much of a proposition, you know? Um,
no, but I can see a lot of times where you're using this to kill something and you have just enough mana to do so,
yeah,
and so this would allow you to just put it over a little bit more.
yeah. I think it's still just a C.
Okay.
I don't think this card's good. And I don't like these. I don't like these effects in limited.
Yeah, yeah. No.
I don't like the X. It needs to give me something more for the amount of mana I'm spending. All right, here we go.
Hellspur Posse Boss.
Hellspur.
2 red for a creature, lizard, rogue, 2/4. Other outlaws you control have haste, and whenever Hellspur Posse Boss enters the battlefield, create 2/1/1 red mercenary creature tokens. So these have haste. It creates 2/1/1s
Yeah,
with
you need
haste.
to move your mic closer, by the way.
Um, I mean, this is just good.
Uh, yes, this seems quite good.
It's just very, very good.
I
I
wish
mean, obviously you're wanting mercenaries. All of red and black is mercenaries, so like this works with all of them.
like I think this card's fine, but I really wish he also gave himself haste because then he
Yeah,
would be
yeah,
an attacking 4/4 haste because his other mercenaries could pump him because they have haste, and that would be like that would make it
that
more
might be
interesting.
too good.
I don't think it'd be too good. This is still like this is fine. I mean, it's good. It's good. It's good.
This is like a BB plus, right? B plus maybe
Oh
even.
yeah, it's a B plus. Yeah, it's a B plus. It's quite good. It's quite good because you can use those other mercenaries to pump other creatures. Like if you're in an aggressive red white deck, got some first strike going on.
Yeah,
These mercenaries are going to make first strike a pain in the ass. I think there were several creatures that just have first strike on your turn. In this, which I guess mercenaries only activate as a sorcery, so makes sense. Magda, the Horde Master, 1 and a red for 2/2. Whenever you commit a crime, create a trapped treasure token. Sacrifice 3 treasures, create a 4/4 red scorpion dragon creature token with flying and haste. Activate only as a sorcery. That's a very Magda thing to do. It's a 2/2 for 2. Dwarf Berserker. Um I think in limited, ironically, you're actually wanting to accumulate them to make the dragon, right? Like more so than other formats.
yeah, for sure.
Other formats, this is
And
like maybe
There's
get
several
rid.
other things that makes treasures. So like
Yeah.
maybe if you could Yahtzee it, several of those
Yeah.
in draft, like it could be pretty good.
What's so funny is cashing in 3 treasures. Like if you're curving out, that actually just translates to spend 3 mana and draw a free 4/4 flying haste
Yeah,
because it's not
yeah.
costing a card or any other mana. Um, I mean, I wonder if it's actually easy enough to commit crimes in like other formats where this is interesting, like in Commander or something.
Yeah,
Probably not.
because
Pro-
you can sack the treasures with this ability with them still being tapped. Can you not?
Oh, you're very correct. Yeah. Uh huh. Yeah, very true. Also interesting, they have haste, so this is actually a payoff for any dockside loop,
Mm,
like in Commander, right? Any dockside loop, it just translates the treasures directly into haste damage,
yeah,
um,
yeah.
which is pretty good. As like an additional win con to whatever other combo you're doing with infinite dockside
Right.
mana. Um, so yeah, this is cool. In limited, this is like what, like a B minus probably, maybe a B. I
Yeah, I
mean,
think it's a B minus
I guess if you have a lot of other ways to make treasures, this can be pretty sick.
or
Like if
just
you have,
committing crimes. Yeah.
sorry, yeah, committing crimes. But like the 3/3 or the 3/2 trample for 3 with that makes a treasure on ETB. Remember, I've been high on that
Uh-huh.
one a couple times.
Yeah.
Imagine you like play this on 2, that on 3, and then I guess you commit 2 crimes on 4. Target 2 of their things. Uh,
Yeah.
and then you get a 4/4. That'd be pretty sick. Yeah, maybe it's a B. It's a bear. It's a bear that ramps you some, so maybe it's a B.
Yeah, and it has, potential ridiculous upside. I don't know. I think it might be even a B plus,
Yeah,
but
maybe.
slick shot show off. One in a red creature bird wizard. Uh, it's a 1/2 that has flying and haste. Whenever
Mhm.
you cast a non-creature spell, this card gets +2/+0 until end of turn, and it plots for 2. Interesting.
That's it. So it's like it's prowess. It's prowess, but doesn't buff the health, right? Because it even
Yes.
specifically says non-creature, like prowess is one of the few things that triggers like that.
Yeah.
Um, Prowess, but double attack, and okay. This is so. Monastery Swiftspear, right, is such a direct comparison for this because it is a 1/2 prowess haste for 1 red, right?
Hmm.
That's Monastery
Yeah.
Swiftspear. This,
Yeah.
for 1 more mana, you are getting evasion and you are getting an additional attack proc for every non creature spell at the cost if it's butt not growing, but you care less about its butt not growing because you have evasion, you know?
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I've jumped the shark on talking about this in limited, obviously, because I'm so interested now in this from other formats. I think this is very good in limited, right? We're always
Yeah,
playing
yeah,
this in
it's
limited.
obviously extremely good and limited.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
we're
question is
in other formats. Is this?
other formats.
I think
I mean,
maybe.
do you think this is like an A minus?
I'll tell you this. This card excites me. This card excites me for. This card maybe gets big enough, fast enough that you can play those attack doublers. You know what I mean? The spells because it's on cast too. So even if
Yeah,
your attack doubler, like only if you've triggered 2 other things, like this could be pretty funny. This could be pretty funny. Um, like giving it double strike. Like this could make double strike spells a thing, right?
right, right.
Because that's just so much. It's like very all in on the strategy, but yeah, I like
Yeah,
it.
but it could absolutely slap.
It's funny. This normally so no, I find myself playing mono red and Boros. I've always been a control player my whole life, and now a card like this like excites me. Like I would used to have hated a card like this. I think I'm getting simple in my old age. I'm like, I don't have time to go to time anymore. I just want to let the cards decide it on the field.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How are you gonna answer this?
But
Yeah, it's just very good.
plotting matters a little.
A minus though.
in limited.
Yeah.
Probably a B plus. So you're always plotting this, right? Now that I think about it, because when you play this, you're almost never going to be able to cast a non-creature spell, right? Unless you're playing like Mishra's Bauble in Modern, because this is played in Modern for whatever
Yeah, but they
reason.
also still know it's coming, so why not just slam it and then get a damage in? Because they're probably aggressive.
Because you would at least make them potentially have an inefficient turn. I'm saying if all you're going to do is get one damage out of this, there's no reason to not plot it. Like maybe you have a way to defend it if you have your mana up, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. But even not.
I
There's
don't know.
like, is the one damage really going to matter all that much? Because maybe they have to take turn 3 off in order to like save up an instant to kill this. I don't know.
Right. But
I don't
I
think I'm
mean,
ever
I don't know.
casting. I don't think I'm ever just casting this for 2 in limited. I might be wrong.
Maybe.
All right.
Yeah, the thing about plotting is they know it's coming, so like
Yeah, I know they know it's coming.
I don't know that matters, and sometimes it does come down to a
But
single point of
but
damage.
what if they have source? I mean, they would have to specifically have an instant, right?
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah,
you're
right.
playing
Maybe.
around any sorcery removal, which seems like
Yeah, maybe
a lot of
you're
things.
just trying to guarantee your own value. Yeah.
Yeah, at least because like getting one hit and then being able to sorcery this off for 1 damage versus getting 1 3 or 4 damage hit in
Yeah,
or
yeah.
3 or 5 damage hit in the next turn. Yeah, it depends on your hand, but
Massive.
I would wager a vast majority of the time this is getting plotted. All
Yep.
right. Stingerback Terror, 2 red for a 7/7 flying trample. Interesting. Interesting stats and abilities. It gets -1/-1 for each card in your hand. And it plots.
Yeah. I mean, this card is nuts.
They are really making me want to play red and all formats. like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
isn't this
Flying
just a fun
Trample
card?
7th.
Isn't this? I would love to travel back in time and show 12-year-old Koe this. He would slap me in the face. He'd be like,
Yeah. Well,
witchcraft.
you would tell your older self or yourself from the future that wizards had lost their damn minds.
Yeah, is that 7/7 trample for 4? Yeah, so like, you're always playing this unlimited, right?
Oh, yeah. This is an A.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're plotting this. And
Maybe
like,
it's an A plus. Like,
no, it does. It doesn't get you immediate value and dies to hard removal, so I don't think it can be an A plus. Um,
yeah.
but it's hilarious. It's I don't
It's
feel it's like
brutal.
crazy broken either. So on average you'll have. So if you go first, every turn you basically go down a card. If you curve out perfectly, you go down a card every turn. So you'll have 3 cards left when you cast this. So it's a 4/4 flying trample for 4. That's given a perfect curve out, and you're going first. You can
Yeah.
also plot it. Um, it will temporarily get smaller when you draw at the start of your next turn. So if they have like instant deal 3 damage, I guess they might be able to get rid of it. But you can also just not play it on turn 4. You know, that's or plot it on turn 4, plot it on turn 5.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I wish unplotted things had haste. That'd maybe be too good.
Yeah. That'd be for sure too good, depending on what they are.
Yeah. I want my plotted Eldrazi with that Simic spell to have haste.
Why not?
Is this good enough in standard, maybe? Probably not. Which feels crazy to say. Maybe it is. Probably not. Probably not.
Probably
It's
not.
it's
I
cool.
I would assume not, but
It's crazy that it's not, right? Like, part of me is
yeah.
like,
Right. Right.
the numbers and the abilities.
Yeah.
Surely this has to be, but maybe not. So this is a card, and I'm assuming this last card was a dragon. Worth noting for
Yeah.
go.
Terror of the
Yeah,
Peace.
this is a card.
3 red, so 5 for a creature dragon that we love and know. It's a 5/4
We
flyer.
don't know and love
Spells
it.
you.
We love and know
Yes,
it.
correct.
Yeah, okay.
Spells your opponents cast this A cast that target Terror of the Peaks costs an additional 3 life to cast. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Terror of the Peaks deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target.
Any target. Any creature, not just dragons.
Any creature, yeah.
ETBs
Yeah, I mean,
isn't cast.
yeah.
ETBs.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously S plus 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 unlimited and is
Nah,
just and only very strong.
it doesn't immediately get you value. Oh, wait, yes it does. There's plot in this set. I did that on purpose. So, it's even better than it would normally be, because when you can play it on 5, you can also unplot a creature to immediately shoot something. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Says Wizards. Yeah, so S plus, great in other formats. This is like a
Yep.
$30 card or something. I don't know. It's not cheap.
Yeah, no, it's an insane card.
Yeah, yeah. So it's still $25 now. So it's probably over 30. Oh, it looks so cool. The original version. Which art do you like better? I like the original.
I don't know.
Probably.
I think I like this art.
This one looks like Croesus the Purger from Invasion with the spine back.
Yeah,
I like
not
this
familiar.
one. This one looks like
This is
Dargaz.
great art.
Now
Yeah,
that I
this
think
is
about
great
it.
art, but
Yeah.
still.
I wonder if it has an alt art in this set. That'd be pretty cool. Oh, we're on to green. Red felt like it was really
yeah.
small.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
did.
we just did it quick or something. All right. This is awesome. Bristly Bill, Spine Sower. I was going to say Weaver for some reason. 1 in a green. Another bear.
Okay.
How many 2/2 for 2s are in this set?
A lot.
Whenever a
More than
land,
usual.
yeah, for real. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Landfall.
Yeah.
3 green. Double the number of 1/1 counters on each creature you control. I felt like you were trying to manifest some +1/+1's energy that I didn't really feel, or some counters energy that I didn't really feel existed. But this guy would beg to differ with me. I guess agree with you.
This
Wait.
would ask you to shut the hell up. And
Wake up,
accept.
little ones. There's a new day ahead.
Yeah.
How nice.
This is also obviously going to be a commander.
Yeah. Very good with the 1/1 counters. And this is a mythic, so which is a good thing, because if this was a rare, this would be very aggravating card. I mean, this is like this is an A, right?
Yeah, this is an A.
This is an A.
Yeah, it asks so little of you to
It asks
give
nothing.
you
It asks you to play Magic. Which is just,
a ton of value.
Please play Magic, and you're like, okay, I guess.
This is always going to make 1 to 2 1/1s. 1/1
Yeah, I mean,
counters.
they're going to try to kill
At
it
worst.
immediately, but
Yeah, they had better. Yeah, I mean,
yeah. It's I guess maybe they're thinking now, they're like, man, people curving out with bears is really good, but they're also kind of fragile, so maybe we'll just like really push them to see what that does.
All the bears,
Yeah, just broken bears, and we'll see if that's balanceable, because also small removal spells deal with them. It's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Let's see how it turns out for
Yeah.
them. Oh, you're good.
Colossal Rattleworm.
Oh,
2
he is
and
a
2
sweet
green.
He's a
Creature
sweet
worm.
ball. Look at him. He's a sweet ball he's playing with.
Yeah, he's not
adorable.
something I would describe as sweet.
Oh, he's adorable. Look at him.
Yeah, it's just like a kitty.
Yeah.
It's just a desert kitty.
Yeah, he's a big desert kitty.
It's a 6/5. Colossal Rattleworm has Flash as long as you control a desert, and it has Trample, and you can exile it from your graveyard and search your library for a desert and put it onto the battlefield tapped.
More upside. That's what whenever I see a 4-mana 6/5 Trample Flash, I'm like, where's the upside in the year of our Lord 2024?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was expecting more of any kind of downside. Or just a downside in any way.
Any downside. The downside is if you don't have a desert, it doesn't have Flash, which is probably mitigating in older formats, because who's really wanting to play tap lands?
Right.
Maybe this could make mono green a thing in standard. Like, maybe it's strong enough for that. Because then it also goes and gets you a desert, which is at least doing 1 damage, you'd think.
Yeah.
Which isn't nothing. And ramping you a little bit. I mean, yeah, in draft, this is another A, right? Like.
Yeah. I mean, but it's a 6/5 trample for 4.
Yeah.
No other text.
Yeah. That's the downside. That then ramps you and does a damage later. That's the worst
Yes.
case scenario. Best case scenario, you are blocking them, blowing them out in a block just
Yep.
unrepentantly, and having a
Yep.
6/5 trample. Okay, yeah, maybe it's an A plus. This is a groan. This is like, can you just imagine
Yeah.
someone passing to you with 4 mana and 2 green up, and you're just like, and one of them's a desert. You're like,
I don't like this one bit.
yeah, I don't want to play anymore. Oh, that was interesting. Free Strider Lookout. Green is bringing the heat so far.
Yeah, what the hell?
2 and a green for a 3/3 reach human rogue. Whenever you commit a crime, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tapped. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order, and it triggers only once each turn. So it goes and fetches you a land out of the top 5, which has a very high chance to hit, and directly ramps it into the battlefield. For 0 mana, as long as you are committing crimes, but it only does it once. I mean, you're always playing this in limited, but it's not like broken. It's like a B plus probably. B
Yeah, it's
plus.
just it's a 3/3 for 3, and it has reach. But like, yeah, the fact that it just can ramp you basically for free and thin your deck out is pretty lit.
Yeah, I guess I'm playing more 5 and 6 drops than I normally would, right? If I have this and I'm in green, and
Yeah,
assuming I can commit some amount of crimes, because this is basically always hitting a land. So
yeah,
yeah, this is pretty lit. I don't think it's
yeah.
good enough
It's just
for
good.
older formats, probably, unless there's just
So
unless there just happens to be very free crimes in like older formats that just aren't apparent to me. I don't think any of these will really make it right.
no, well, I don't think I think by itself the fact that even if you could do that and there were free easy targets or ways to target the opponent, the fact that they come in tapped makes it mid.
Yeah. All rampers kind of do that, but yeah, it's also pretty expensive for real formats. Ooh, a new Hydra. Interesting.
Yeah, this is interesting. Gold Vein Hydra, X and green Hydra. Obviously a 0/0 because you're gonna pay into it. It has Vigilance, Trample, and Haste,
Mm-hmm.
which is a lot.
Yeah, it's
Comes in
mythic.
with a 1/1 counter for each X you play into it. And whenever it dies, create a number of tapped treasure tokens equal to its power.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Huh.
That's interesting in Commander first, which I know we talk about limited, but
Yeah.
where you do the X doubling stuff because it like lets
Yeah.
you cheat on mana, right? Or
Right. Right.
counter doubling, right? Because it does
Right.
counters.
And
So
it's and
yeah,
you say, please remove this.
yeah, yeah,
Please, I would love for you to remove this. I have infinite mana now, thank you.
yeah, yeah. This seems good.
Because also if you have like token doublers in green, like it then doubles your tokens.
Yeah, I
Again,
mean,
the treasure tokens that it makes.
what's the minimum amount of mana you're happy spending on this? The minimum amount in limited. What's the minimum amount of mana you'd spend on this?
X is 3.
Yeah, I agree. I think yeah, this is a 4 drop minimum. I mean, that being said though, casting it for 3 and it being a 2/2, yeah, it only dies into 2 treasure tokens, but that's when the treasure tokens are going to be the most relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on what's in your hand, I guess. Like if you have
Yeah.
2 big things and then can play them both on one turn when this dies because it's like a 4/4 or something, maybe do that. This is also like the biggest bundle of snakes of a Hydra I've seen. Just like
It's a cacophony of snakes.
it's a big old snake cacophony. Um, how good do you think this is in limited?
I mean, I think it's still. I mean, it's still a vigilance, trample, haste. Like, also, this is obviously probably the last thing you want to have to play out of your hand. Like, I think ideally you're wanting to pump 5 or 6 mana
Yeah.
into it,
Oh
but
yeah,
like,
yeah, for sure.
like, I mean, that's pretty
But
impressive.
it's like a B plus though, right?
Yeah, it's a B plus.
Or maybe it's an A minus because of the treasure part. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, maybe it's an A minus.
If there was a mechanic like clues that like you could just crap mana into to draw cards or something, be more into it, but we haven't really seen anything like that.
Yeah, my biggest thing is that, yeah, I don't find the treasure thing to be super valuable specifically in limited, just because by the time you're
Yeah.
casting this, like,
You you you,
unless you
you
are
want
in Simic and have that other spell, like
yeah.
something else that you're
Or
like
that,
pumping
that blue
tons of
draw
mana
card
into.
spell, the blue draw card spell, right? The 2/2
Right.
blue
Yeah.
draw 3, surveil 3 if you have no cards in your hand.
Right. Right.
That'd be
Yeah.
pretty good.
That'd be pretty strong.
And oh yeah, basically the only other application here is going to be like commander counter X doubling stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Ornery Tumblewag. Oh, we got another Bushwag.
It is adorable.
2 and a green. He's a mount. He can ride this. Does not look comfortable. Oh no! I see his little mount. It's right behind his head. Oh,
Yeah,
so
it looks like a little hat.
it's so cute. He's a 2/2. Whatever it is, it's great. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Oh, it could also be himself. Whenever it attacks while saddled, double the number of 1/1 counters on target creature. Goes with the Hydra we just saw, and it saddles for 2.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
Oh, I just realized it says at the beginning of combat, period. It's not attacking or anything.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
just a 3/3
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So it's just better than a 3/3 for 3.
Yeah.
Um,
You play a 2/2 for 2, which we have seen in this set a little bit on turn 2, and play this on 3.
yeah.
You're welcome.
That seems pretty good.
Immediately giving 1/1s to your 2/2, and
All these 1/1 counters make that 2 mana 2/2 lifelink in black that mills you pretty compelling, right? If you can
yeah,
if you can put counters on that thing, that's a beating and a half.
right.
But how good is this? It's like an A minus, maybe still just a B plus.
I think it's an A minus or a B plus. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just very good.
It's super cute.
Solid.
There's a little tortoise over here too. Oh, next page. And it's you.
Outcaster Trailblazer, 2 and a green, creature, human, druid, 4/2. When Outcaster Trailblazer enters the battlefield, add 1 mana of any color. Whenever another creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card, and it plots for 3.
Yeah, the ETB getting a mana is weird, right? The idea is that you plot
Really
it.
strange. You obviously,
plot it.
want to plot it, so
So
like,
it ramps you.
yeah, you would assume that turn 4 you now have 5 mana.
Right. So you
But-
and you play this for 3 free, and then you immediately play something bigger with your ramp to draw a card as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, this is good.
Yeah, this is great.
Especially like green specifically loves this kind of thing.
And once
even though
again,
we've not seen something like this specifically.
You're plotting this one like 95% of the time. This has
Yeah,
got to be one of the highest plot rates to both protect it and to get its free
gotta
ramp.
gotta be.
I cannot imagine casting this for 3.
This is a B plus, yeah?
I think this is probably better.
Do you think it is an A minus or an A even?
I think this might be an
Power
A.
draw?
I think it might be an A.
We've
Yeah,
seen a lot
because
of 4/4 plus things in green specifically, obviously. So
this is really letting you do. It is itself a threat, and it's ramping you, and it draws you a card a lot of the time.
yeah,
Maybe more than one card.
Right.
That's not a one time, and it's not even a once
Yeah.
per turn. By the way,
right.
yeah, seems great. I think this is like an A. Not going to be fun to
Yes.
play too. All right, railway brawler. Look at this hippo or rhinoceros. My apologies. 32.
you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, he's gonna beat my ass. 3 and 2 green for a 5/5 reach trample rhino warrior. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, put X/1/1 counters on it, where X is its power, and it
Whoa.
plots for 1 less than its mana cost.
1 less. Yes.
This seems outrageous.
Yeah, this is dumb.
This seems silly.
This is an A.
This is a mythic. Yeah, this is an A.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
goodness it's mythic. This other one was rare, right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
You're playing 8/8s for 4, probably.
yeah. Something stupid's happening. You know, you're not. You're not
This
into it.
this is this is a third pack first pick that you're like, oh, I'm in green now.
I don't know. It is double green. Oh no, it's
I'm
single green if
I'm
you plot
fine.
it. Single green if you plot it. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I mean,
I'm in.
I guess it has legs in like Commander too. This is a pretty cool Commander card.
Yeah, what's its price at? Surely people are hype about this.
10.
Oh, nothing.
So that means it's probably going to be like a $3 card. But what we've seen is like cards hit the nadir right when a set comes out, and then they're like, oh wait, we do like this, and it's like $10
Yeah.
again. Man, there was so much counter love in green at rare. It's pretty surprising, honestly. So yeah, it's like an A plus or some nonsense. All right, Smuggler's Surprise. Wait, did I just do the last one? Yeah, I did. It's you.
Smuggler's Surprise. One green instant. Spree. For an additional 2 mill 4 cards, you may put up to 2 creatures and or land cards from among the milled cards into your hand. For an additional 5 4 and a green, you may put up to 2 creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. And then for 1 additional creatures you control with power 4 or greater, gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn.
Okay. So this seems good.
Yeah, I mean this card is nuts. Also, if you can just Yahtzee the first 2,
Yeah, I mean, if your deck's almost all creatures and lands, which generally it is, and if you're in black green, you like want to lean into that more, or obviously if you're in constructed deck,
anything with green in it.
this is an instant 2 and a
Yeah,
green draw 2 out of 4, basically,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And like your opponent knows what you're drawing, I guess, is a negative, but that's still pretty good. Um, 2 out of 4 for 3 at instant speed, not bad. The 2 creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield for 6. That's like kind of silly. Probably, like you're probably not doing that, right? Because you're going down a card to do it.
yeah. But I mean,
In limited, in
right? Yeah,
limited.
yeah.
And it's still silly in other
I mean,
formats.
yeah, and honestly, I think the second most relevant one for limited is the 4 or
Bottom one.
greater giving hexproof and
Yeah.
indestructible. Like that's just very good. Fuck you.
I mean, I think the dream is that you do the top one and the bottom one at the same time. Like that's
Yeah,
insane, right?
yeah.
That and it's only 4 mana. It's
That's only 4
four
mana.
4 mana to basically draw 2 cards and eat a removal spell.
Yeah.
Seems good. Seems
Yep.
seems great. So yeah, I think in limited, you definitely want to be in black green, and you definitely want to not play a ton of spells that aren't creatures,
Yeah.
and like maybe 5, 5 or 6 that aren't creatures, which is again probably normal. Um, but yeah, this is like an A, maybe not an A minus.
Yeah. No, this is an A or A minus.
Maybe
It's
it's
probably an A minus.
maybe it's just a B plus. Maybe it's just a B plus. It's good. It's good. I'm playing it. I'm playing it.
Yeah, for sure. I love this card.
A
Go for it.
cool. Wow. So we're already done with the green. All right, on to the multicolors. A cool the unrepentant. My goodness, is that a crab? It's a scorpion. Oh
It's a
my god.
scorpion dragon.
Scorpion Dragon Rogue. This feels like old school Magic. This art even kind of is giving me old school Magic vibes. Black,
This,
black, red, red.
it should be a dragon demon. Like even is
It's a
this?
scorpion. Look at its tail. Its tail is ridiculous. Flying
Yeah,
trample 5/5 for 4, but with hard mana cost. Sacrifice 3 other creatures. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. Okay, that's not what I was expecting. I was not expecting him to Elvish Piper me when I sack 3 things. Um,
and being a 5/5 trample, flying trample for 4
yeah. So that's good.
by
You have to
itself.
be very firmly in these colors. It's
Yep.
still unlikely and limited that you're going to cast this on turn 4, even if you are in exactly red black.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's probably more like turn 5. Sacking 3 other creatures to just put something from your hand into the battlefield like isn't super exciting. Definitely not in limited. Even in other things, that's not super exciting.
I
Because
mean, this
you
this
don't get
is
cash triggers.
I think this is particularly good with just all the mercenaries. Like I can
Mercenaries?
definitely see this being
I
relevant in
can't.
this set because like there are
I
so
can't.
many ways to just shit out little
Yeah,
mercenaries.
I still can't. I still
Yeah,
can't.
I
You
don't
have
think it's like a major part in
you
factoring its value,
you have
but
to get 3 of them, which is not like super fast to do. Um, like maybe exactly if you manage to make one turn 2 for free, one turn 3 for free, and then one turn 5 for free, and then you can blow them all to get like another 5 drop for free. That would be pretty good, but that feels really narrow. After that, I kind of would just rather use the mana than even the 3 mercenaries. Like those
yeah,
mercenaries are not terrible. Um, yeah, I don't think this is great. I think this is like a B plus.
yeah, I think it's a B plus.
B
I
plus.
still think that's pretty darn good.
Yeah, maybe an A minus. It's just hard to cast. If it had a better casting cost, I think it would just be like an A minus on stats. Maybe it still is. Um, this is you. Oh, this is like the head art person.
Hmm. Annie Flash, the veteran, 3 so 6 total for a legendary creature human rogue, 4/5 with
With
Flash.
flash.
When Annie Flash, the veteran, enters the battlefield, if you cast it, return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. When Annie Flash becomes tapped, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. Whoa.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean this is just a really brutal late game card because it's recurring something from the graveyard directly to the battlefield, tapped. This also just acts as an immediate blocker because it has flash and it's got a big butt on it.
This feels
Um,
like this is the most commander card I think I've ever read in a standard legal set.
yeah,
So commander.
and the fact that it has like this impulse draw thing when you attack with it is pretty cool.
I mean, it's 3 colors.
It's
Um,
3 colors and it costs 6.
yeah. I mean, I'd splash for this if I was in 2 of these. I think.
Yeah, I think so too, but
Because it's drawing you
how
two
good is it?
cards. It's pretty nuts. Assuming you can
I
cast
mean,
this
no,
card is
that's what I'm
pretty
saying. Like,
nuts.
if you can cast this, it is undeniably nuts.
Yeah, reanimate 1 thing, draw 2, potentially blow out combat if they tapped out and you're feeling bold.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, it's got to be like an A, but you have to cast it. Is the problem. It's extremely powerful. I don't think this is good enough in other formats.
yeah, I don't think so either.
I don't even think
Um,
like really in Commander. It's like I mean I guess it can reanimate Dockside. Like get Dockside into your graveyard somehow and then reanimate it. Reanimate. It's any permanent. I don't know. It's interesting. It feels like a
yeah,
mid-range fun commander.
it's definitely interesting, but
It costs 6.
yeah, I just don't think it's so good because it costs 6. But for limited, I think it's like a. I mean, assuming you can play this,
Yeah, I said it's an
I
A.
think it's an A. Yeah.
Yeah, if you can play it, maybe even an A plus. Me, Annie
Yeah.
joins up. We are just talking about Annie. My
I
goodness, we're one and
love this art.
we're one and Naya again. Legendary enchantment. Yeah, sorry, it's wild. When Annie joins up, enters the battlefield, it deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker opponent controls. Okay. If a triggered ability of a
Whoa.
legendary creature you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. 5 mana removal spell for 4. That then double. One half extremely commander, the other half trying to be like limited worthy.
Yeah.
Strange.
This is hilarious with Annie.
Yeah, yeah, it's great with Annie. What is this, like a C?
Yeah, I think it's a C plus.
you have to be able to cast it. Like, casting cost of something that costs 4 is much harder than 6 because
Yeah, yeah, you're not wrong.
if you have if you have like that green legendary
I mean, there's going to be a ton of
landfall +1
those
+1.
dual crime committing deserts.
Yeah, there's a ton of deserts, and we did see other mana fixing as well.
Hmm.
If you have other legendary creatures that doubles the trigger, like the landfall +1/+1 counter guy, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I guess maybe this is a C plus, but like, is there going to be more 3-color stuff or like just Naya? I didn't
I
think this was a wedge set. It's strange. Okay.
Assimilation Aegis.
Well, hold on. One thing real quick. I guess this is also good in legendary creature matters things. This is actually pretty
Yeah.
interesting with one of my favorite legendary creature guys. The guy where you can like exile legendary creatures into order to make other legendary creatures castable from your graveyard or have the legendary permanence. I don't remember his name
I don't know
now,
what that
but
is.
that's pretty good with this. Oh wait, is it
Uh,
any trigger? Oh, it's any trigger. Oh my goodness! This sorry to go the Cascade guy you mentioned. This makes Cascade trigger twice.
yeah, yeah, that's nuts.
That's pretty ridiculous. Okay.
Assimilation Aegis. 1 white and a blue for an artifact equipment. It's for 2. When assimilation Aegis enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target creature card until it leaves the battlefield.
Yep.
Whenever Assimilation Aegis becomes attached to a creature for as long as Assimilation Aegis remains attached to it, that creature becomes a copy of the creature exiled with it.
Of a creature.
Yeah. Wild. So it exiles a creature, and then you can basically copy the creature by attaching it to any of yours. So you can turn your mercenaries into whatever, hopefully, bomb you've taken off their board.
Yeah, it's an Oblivion. It's just straight up an Oblivion ring with the
Yeah.
upside of basically mind controlling it. But like even better than mind control because it's like constantly shiftable mind control.
Yeah.
So, assuming you do have a mercenary, this is a better Oblivion ring and slightly worse or slightly better than mind control. This is basically mind control. Control mind, sorry. Which is really good. So this is really good. This is like an A.
Yeah, yeah, this is obviously extremely good. Like, this is so hard to deal with.
Yeah, this is like an A. I mean, there is some free artifact removal from these like modal spree spells. And that 2/2 bear, right, that I said I was pretty high on. Like I said, it was like a C plus because you can sack it to destroy stuff.
Yeah.
This is like an A.
Yeah, it's just good. It's very good.
This is neat, and I can see you playing this in other formats too. You can like copy people's
Definitely.
commander.
Well, it also keeps the commander out of the.
No, it doesn't.
Oh.
Whenever a commander transitions zones, it can go to the command zone.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but it doesn't say that it becomes a copy of the creature for as long as that creature is exiled. It says for as long as it has remained attached to it, and it becomes of a creature card exiled with it. So you do exile their commander, so you would still get to copy their commander, even though their commander is not still exiled. Which is relevant.
Interesting.
Right. Bonnie Paul, Clear Cutter. What a badass. 3 green and double blue. A big Simic giant scout. 6/5 reach for 6. When it enters the battlefield, create Bow, the legendary blue ox. I see it in the background. It looks pretty sick. It looks like clouds. That's actually really cool. This creature's power and toughness are equal to the number of lands you control. Whenever you attack, draw a card. Then you may put a land card from your hand or graveyard into the battlefield tapped. And it's whenever you attack, not even this creature. So Bonnie Paul nor the Ox has to attack. Just anything has to attack the turn that you play Bonnie Paul and you draw.
Graveyard or battlefield.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is a bomb.
Yeah, this is like an A. Again, it costs 6. You have to cast it, but you're getting a 6/5 reach and at least another 6/6. And you're drawing a card and maybe ramping.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this card is an A.
Yeah. It's silly. I'm actually really excited to see limited resources takes on these rares. These are wild. All right, here we go.
Uh, Breaches, the Blast Maker, one
Breaches.
blue and a red. Legendary creature, Goblin Pirate, 3/3 Menace. Whenever you cast your second spell, each turn you may sacrifice an artifact. If you do, flip a coin. When you win the flip, copy that spell. You may choose new target for the copy. When you lose the flip, Breaches, the Blast Maker deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to any target.
Yeah. Heads up, I win. Tails up, you lose. Yeah.
This is an A.
Yeah. That's kind of wild,
A
right?
plus. Like, I was
Our,
expecting the downside to be like make this unusable, but like no, it's
yeah. Yeah. You were expecting you lose the flip and it deals damage to you or something. No. No.
yeah,
No. 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 Any target, by the way.
right. Any target.
You
How is
do.
this not a mythic?
You 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 do have to sacrifice an artifact. Is the key. That's why it's not crazy broken. You
Yeah,
do have to have a treasure or something to sack, presumably treasure, in order to do the thing. But it does turn your treasures into either duplicate spells. And notice it's any spell. It's not like the typical instant or sorcery, right? Or even non-creature. It can copy creature spells,
yeah,
permanent spells. It can copy anything. Um, so this is probably good in Commander too, right? Like,
yeah. It's definitely usable. There's several places this can get slotted in. I
it's
think that I
fun.
mean this is more like a B plus because it's your second spell, and obviously with plotting you can do that, but
Yeah.
also needing to have an artifact like this is a hard build around.
Yeah,
But
we have to see how many
really
artifacts
cool.
we can get. I don't really recall how many artifacts there are. Red and
Yeah,
blue are what make artifacts, but it
yeah.
seemed like there was more mercenaries than artifacts. Um,
There are definitely several treasure makers that we kind of like. I think
again,
think
the
much of.
3/2 guy for three. Excuse me. I remember the 3/2 guy for 3 trample. He was a good one. Yeah, I mean, I like it. Yeah, it's probably like a B plus. I agree.
Yep.
Bruce Tarl, roving rancher. This guy is bougie.
He
He's got a
looks like
little.
Grom.
He's got flat. He does look a lot like Braum. 2, a red and a white for legendary creature, human warrior, 4/3, rare. Oxen you have double strike. Whenever Bruise Tarl, roving rancher, enters the battlefield or attacks, exile the top card of your library. If it's a land, you get a 2/2 white ox. Otherwise, you may cast it until the end of your next turn. Notice it says cast. Almost all of these that we see say play, but they
Yeah.
just throw in enough casts that can't do lands to keep you on your toes. This one is a cast, not a play. Because the reason it's not is because if it is a land, you can't play it because it's making you an ox. Um, a double strike ox. So yeah, this is like an A, right?
Yeah, this is an A. It's
A
ridiculous.
minus, A minus, A. You're actually you're naturally hoping it hits a land with the ETB when you play it, right? And then
Yeah.
when you attack, you're probably hoping it doesn't hit a land. Maybe you're hoping it hits a land. You're hoping it hits instant removal spell uh, to clear the way for him. And it's like, so if you care about oxes, I guess Commander can
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah.
Oh my God! There's more 3-color cards. Wild. All right.
Ariette, the Beguiler. One white, blue, and a black. Legendary
That's
creature, human warlock, 4/4. It's lifelink. Whenever an aura you control becomes attached to a non-land permanent an opponent controls with mana value less than or equal to that aura's mana value, gain control of that permanent for as long as that aura is attached to it.
With mana
uh,
value less than or equal to the aura's mana value. That's strange. So you have to cast expensive auras to gain control of permanents. Or they have to be cheap
yeah.
permanents. Also, you didn't say the mana cost of this. It's 1 and a white, blue, black.
Yeah, I think I did, but
Maybe.
um,
I mean, it's a 4/4
I mean,
lifelink
this
for
is
for 4. But again, you
yeah,
have to
that
be
by
able to cast
itself is
it.
playable, but like, yeah, why? Yeah,
Has there ever been a
splashing for this? Maybe this is the
has
most commander card. This is
yeah,
the
yeah,
most
this
commander
is.
card.
I think they all are. Have we ever seen a set that just like casually has some amount of 3-color stuff in it? Like it's not even the theme. It's just like maybe this will become the
Yeah,
new norm. Just random commander cards in a non-wedge set. Um, I don't think you care about this aura thing like at all. The only one I can
0%.
the only one I can think of that'd be pretty sick is the green one, which isn't in the colors, right? The +3/+2 and trample, and when it dies, you draw a card for 4.
There's a blue one that was expensive, but I mean, it was just
It taps it
okay.
down and removes its abilities. The blue
Yeah,
one.
right,
The green one pumps it and lets you draw when it dies. So that would be a sick way to still like their 3/3, right? Like their
right,
3
right,
drop, and then
right,
you make it bigger and make it draw you a card when it dies and take control of it. Like that would be insane. But that's blue or that's green,
right.
and not these colors. I mean, maybe
Yeah,
there's a red
these colors don't generally buff with their
with
auras.
auras, except for in Commander.
Right.
But then again, it's a 4/4 life. Like, if they were just interested in Commander, this is like a 2/4, right, with no lifelink. But since they're
Right.
like, we want people to play this in limited for some reason, so let's make it a 4/4 lifelink for 4, which isn't at all like what its ability is doing, really.
No.
Um, but what is this like a C plus if you can cast it?
Yeah, it's a C plus. It's a C plus.
Because it's hard to
Yeah,
cast. Yeah,
because it's hard to cast.
weird. Girid, Mirror
Or
of
Naya.
Yeah, Girid, Mirror of the Wilds. Just straight Naya. 3 mana. Legendary creature, Human Shaman. 3/3 haste. Non-token creatures you control have tap. Create a token that's a copy of target token you control that entered the battlefield this turn. Because I want more conditions. I want my non-token creatures to only be able to target token creatures and copy those token creatures to make other token creatures, but only if that token has entered the battlefield this turn.
Yeah,
What a bunch of nonsense.
this is weird. I mean, there's
It
so many ways to make mercenaries. Like,
Yeah, the tokens don't go away either. They don't like fizzle, so you're just like doubling your mercenary
yeah,
tokens.
yeah, you're or tripling. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, yeah, every creature can do it. Every non-token creature can do it. I mean, it seems good, but again, are you able to play just straight Naya in limited? This is a
right.
mythic. I mean, this is
If you
hilarious with
can, this
token
is
doublers.
hilariously good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, this is
good.
very funny.
Yeah, in Commander,
It
token doublers is
in
like
Commander for sure. Yeah,
infinite.
this in Commander, what is the one that makes all the druids, the one ones that tap for mana,
Yeah, yeah, hmm
Awaken the Woods.
yeah.
This with Awaken the Woods. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know how good this is,
I don't know
though,
how much you can cast this.
because it's about casting it and like once again like,
It's great if you cast it. Yeah.
yeah, it's very good if you cast it, but
Generic C plus, C to C plus, because who knows if you can cast this thing. But my goodness, if you can cast, I mean, when are you upset? I guess I'm okay even casting this turn 5. Like I'm okay casting this turn 5, I guess.
yeah, yeah. I think I'm happy casting this at any point during the game.
I still think it's like a C plus. I mean, weirdly, again, what's coming to my mind is like blue. Blue has the ability to like make those 2/2 tokens or whatever, like the tokens that even grow. So like that's what I would want to be copying with this. I think is like blue and
Right, right.
black. They were the ones
Good,
making
good
2/2s.
tokens. Yeah.
These colors were not making big tokens. They were making a bunch of mercenaries, but I don't think they were making. Oh, you know what would actually be sick with this? That thing that makes an XX bramble or whatever, where X is the number of or the biggest creature you have. Remember that card? It was 1 in a
Yeah.
green, make an XX creature where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. That's insane with
Yes.
this.
Yeah, that would be really dumb.
Yeah.
Make 3 of them casually.
I mean, it's a mythic, so like, I mean, I would first pick this for sure. If I
Yeah,
open
yeah.
this, I'm first picking this. I'm looking for that card, and like we're doing the thing. We're gonna try to do the thing.
You're certainly gonna try.
I'm first picking any two-color desert in these colors at that
Every
point.
relevant one.
Yeah. Oh boy, you get this one.
Oh,
Speaking of,
the Gitrog Ravenous Ride.
whew.
3 black and a green for a legendary creature frog horror mount. That's a 6/5. This is a mythic. Trample haste. Whenever the Gitrog Ravenous Ride deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice a creature that saddled it this turn. If you do, draw X cards, then put up to X land cards from your hand onto the battlefield tapped, where X is the sacrifice creature's power, and it saddles for 1.
Yeah, so it's like that red rare that we saw. The saddling is merely a way to activate its ability, hardly a
Yeah,
cost.
yeah, hardly a
Um,
cost.
and it lets you fling a creature to draw and ramp. And other than that, it's just a 6/5 trample haste for 5. A quick rant that I want to point out about this, which you might appreciate actually because of the story beat of it.
Yeah.
So this is the reason that they kind of got rid of planeswalkers and created omen paths, was to do something like this. Because like the Gitrog would have just been on its plane, right? Whatever, I don't know what plane the Gitrog's from. Like these other legendary creatures.
Yeah.
But the omen paths now allow like powerful people or creatures or whatever to now
Beings,
also
yeah.
to also traverse planes. So now we can get
Right.
this plane's flavor of Gitrog monster, which is pretty cool. Like that's a cool idea.
It's very cool.
Not just planeswalkers get to see their character context translated between planes anymore. You also get like some iconic creatures. So it's a neat
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, this is an A.
Yeah, yeah. This card's great. This card's great. It's an A.
It's an ass beating.
It's pretty wild. I'm interested in playing those 4/2s. Right, with
Yeah.
this, you're like fling it, draw 4, ramp 3, something like that. Seems great, and I think
Or
this actually has
how about
maybe
the
a chance.
Ox?
It maybe has chances in other formats too.
The Ox, the blue Ox that that 6-drop makes. That
Yeah,
has
sure,
the
sure,
land.
yeah. Why not? Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're playing double blue, black, green, mythic
Uh,
into rare.
obviously,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah,
You just draft all dual lands, and then you
yeah,
just slam every mythic that
yeah.
you get to see.
5-color green, pretty good. Campbell,
This is a
Kumbal,
slick man.
Kumbal, Profiteering Mare. Oh, that doesn't sound positive. 1 a white and a black for a legendary human advisor. He's an advisor. He's the mayor. He's a 2/4. Whenever one or more tokens enters the battlefield under your opponent's control, for each of them, create a tapped copy of it. This ability triggers only once each turn, but it's 1 or more. So the first time that 1 or more tokens are generated, you get all of them. But it only triggers once a turn, but you get all of them from that one trigger. Whenever 1 or more tokens enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Okay. The whole beginning
Pretty
part's
brutal.
weird. Like, punish your opponent for doing tokens, but then also I drain you for tokens. Yeah, and limited, I think this is great. Just that drain is wild,
Yeah.
right? Every mercenary you make.
Well, the thing is, there's going to be a ton of mercenary. I mean, there's going to be a ton of tokens. I feel like in general, just freely being made in this set. So
Yeah.
like, I mean,
And
this
it's
is
any
especially
token.
brutal.
It's not even creatures,
And
it's any
also,
token.
it's
That's
triggering
wild.
the second part off of the first part. So if they're playing tokens, they're losing life. Like,
This is once again just an infinite dockside OTK. It's any token. It's not even creatures. Just
yeah,
like it is. I feel like we've seen they're just really willy nilly printing things where you don't even have to do anything else with like an infinite dockside treasure loop. It just wins.
yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, I think this is really good. And we've also now seen like a critical mass of things that like drain your opponent in black, right? We've seen like 3
yeah.
things now, 3 to 4 things. There's that enchantment, the flyer, this guy. I think another one of their uncommons did it, right? The Orzhov uncommon did it. So yeah, and like I said, I think this is good in a lot of things.
I mean, this is an A, right? In this set,
Probably, yeah, because it also takes tokens from your opponent. Yeah, so it's an
and
A.
you're just freely
It
having
doesn't
a
take
two
them.
life swing,
It copies them.
two
Yeah.
a two life swing every
Well, yeah.
token.
Yeah, it
Well,
really makes
every
them
instance of
it
token
like
generation.
it makes everything that they have that generates a mercenary a definite feels bad. I gave
Yeah.
them a creature and just a 2 life swing every time I generate a mercenary. That's not great.
Uh,
Not every time, I guess. Every first time I do it in a turn.
this is the groan test,
Yeah, 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 you're not
and
excited about this.
it's eliciting a groan.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be an what? Bant? Okay, take a Bant card.
Kellen joins up for green, white, blue, a legendary enchantment. When Kellen joins up, enters the battlefield, you may exile a non-land card with mana value 3 or less from your hand. If you do, it becomes plotted. Whenever a legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control.
Oh, these are so weird. So this I do not think
Oh,
is playable unless you have a bunch of legendary creatures. Like you cannot play this in limited. Who
I
cares?
mean, it does plot something for free.
So you could just plot it yourself. You're just going down a
Yeah,
card to
yeah,
plot something. Like you're still spending 3 mana on this, so
yeah,
you
and it's
just
also
plot
three
it.
colors. Like, there's no
Yeah,
way you're playing this turn 3.
it does nothing. It discards a card from your hand, namely itself, for 3 mana.
Yeah, yeah.
And then if you have a bunch of legendary creatures, I don't know
Yeah,
how many
this is
legendary
not
creatures.
great for limited,
I don't
obviously.
think I'm playing
So,
this. I think even if I have 5 legendary creatures, I'm not playing this.
okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like a
Maybe.
C minus,
Maybe if I have 5
maybe
legendary.
even a D.
D. I think it's a build around D plus. Regularly an F. Build
Yeah,
around
fair.
D plus. Um, man, I just feel so blind. I know I said I didn't pay attention to the spoilers, but I feel so blindsided by there being so many wedges. We did feel like we were going through the colors fast, so maybe there's a ton of like Bant cards. Like maybe we've just begun. We
Yeah,
are just on K of the multicolored, so
right, right.
I wasn't getting that from the commons and uncommons that this was a heavy multicolored set.
No,
Like, were you? I
no,
didn't. So you didn't know this was
no, not
happening
at all.
either, did you?
No.
No. Wild. So, I did see this, but I guess I thought it was from the commander part of the set.
Yep,
Kellen the
nope.
Kid. This one's me, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Kellen the Kid. Yet again, Bant for a 3/3 human fairy rogue. That's pretty cool. Flying lifelink 3/3 for 3. Okay. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, you may cast a permanent spell with equal or lesser mana value from your hand without paying its mana cost. If you don't, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Not tapped. So that seems good with plotting. So it
Yeah.
just it doubles the like this is so crazy because like imagine you plot something on 2 that has like a 4 casting cost, or I don't know how many of those there are, or has like a 3 casting cost. I'm not sure. Anyway, the idea is you cheat however much mana of the mana cost of the thing that you unplot, right?
Yeah.
And it would be wild, even plotting something that has a 3 casting cost on 2, then playing this on 3, then unplotting the card, and then playing something else all on that turn, or just ramping even. Um, yeah, it just ramps you untapped, even if you don't get the free cast. This is worth playing Bant for, obviously. If you can play this, this is like
Yeah, this is insane.
an A minus.
If you can.
Assuming that you're playing this on like turn 4, optimistically, you are in green, so you have a much better chance of mana fixing than Esper, probably. So I'm assuming you're playing this on like 4, so it's probably like a B plus A minus, right? Because it's not drawing you a card
Yeah.
anywhere in this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool though. How about other? What about other things? Does this have legs and anything else? Maybe.
Maybe. It's not in
Probably not.
red, so you can't do it with like exile things, which is the most
Yeah.
common way to just do this in other.
Probably
chance.
not. It doesn't draw you a card, as we mentioned. So,
Yeah.
laughing. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is great art. All right, so Laughing Jasper Flint, 1 black and a red. Legendary creature Lizard Rogue, 4/3. Creatures you control, but don't but but don't own are mercenaries in addition to their other types. At the
Sure.
beginning of your upkeep, exile the top X cards of target opponent's library, where X is the number of outlaws you control. Until end of turn, you may cast spells from among those cards, and mana of any type can be cast to cast those spells, used to cast those spells. Um, so much text.
Yeah. What is it doing? X cards of their library, number of outlaws, cast spells from among those cards. Okay. Well, that seems
Creatures
good.
you control but don't own.
Yeah, just ignore the beginning part is like kind of flavor, but also works towards powering the second part. So the idea is if you just have laughing Jasper Flint here, you're
Yeah,
at the beginning of every turn you're exiling the top one card of their library, right? Because he counts himself because he is an
yep,
outlaw, and you can cast it. And if that happens to be a creature, you cast their creature. Now you control their creature, but you don't own it, which means it's a mercenary, and now X is two.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
and now
yeah.
X is
And
two.
you're in black red, so all your shit's gonna be
Yeah,
mercenary already.
yeah, exactly. And obviously X is going to be more than two, which means you're also just milling your opponent in in a fairly significant way. Like it's just mill
Yeah,
opponent X, but it's exiling them so they can't even use them. So the best possible mill, letting you cast their spells, which is drawing you cards and tilting your opponent, and self
yeah,
powering on a 4/3 for 3.
yeah. hmm
The biggest
This is
crime
this is
here is that we don't have flavor text.
yes, because you know he'd be doing or saying some wild shit. I mean,
Yeah.
this is an A.
Yeah, oh, yeah. This is an A to A plus almost even. This thing is oppressive.
Yeah,
Its
yeah.
flavor
This is
text should
really hard
just
to deal
be.
with.
That's
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
flavor text.
Maniacal laughing.
Yeah. This is awesome.
Uh,
This is my favorite
yeah.
card I think so far.
It's a really cool card.
It's cool. It is a little hard to understand, but God, it's strong too.
Yeah,
Um, till end of turn as well. Yeah, it's great.
this is gonna be an annoying commander too.
Yeah, it's only a buck 47 right now. All right. This is my go, I guess.
Yep.
Leah, undefeated slick shot. We've seen some slick shots. This one's
It's
undefeated, and that is a
Lila.
Lila,
Lila?
Lila,
Lila?
Lila. Oh, there are two L's. I was intentionally trying to
Yeah.
not say the second L for because I'm
Yeah.
dumb.
Yeah.
Lila, undefeated slick shot. That's a pretty slick shot she's got there going on in the art.
Yeah.
Um,
Looks like she's multifaceted.
Yeah, hacking. One blue red for a legendary creature human rogue 3/3 with prowess. Whenever you cast a multicolored instant or sorcery spell from your hand, exile that spell instead of putting it into your graveyard as it resolves. If you do, it becomes plotted. Okay. So you
That's
get
wild.
2 casts out of every multicolored instant or sorcery spell. And the next one you can do as a sorcery on any later turn. So it kind of tucks them away. This with with the blue red uncommon is ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously. And it's not a once per turn thing either. Like this can just keep happening. I wonder if there's a way to cast spells from exile that you've plotted immediately. Like, just because something's plotted in exile, does that mean you can't cast it if a card allows you to cast things that you've exiled?
That's a great question.
I'm trying to see if there's a way to infinite loop this. Because that would basically infinite loop this, potentially.
Yeah. Theoretically. Yeah. I mean, I don't have
Oh,
enough knowledge
no, it
overall,
would.
but
It says cast from your hand, specifically from your hand, so it will never. Yeah.
yeah, you have to
That
cast
makes
the
sense.
initial spell from your hand.
Anyway,
Yeah, that would be broken.
this card's great. Um, in limited, this is like what, like a A minus.
Yeah, this is just very annoying.
I don't think there's that many instant or sorceries that were multicolored. Like very few,
Yeah,
right?
not enough to be in this blue red. Yeah,
Yeah. So maybe it's just like a B plus. I mean, it is a 3/3 prowess for 3.
yeah,
That maybe you Yahtzee it. We'll
yeah. I'm
see.
taking this into blue with blue red, but like, yeah, I don't know how much value it's gonna get.
I'm pretty into this in Commander, to be honest. It seems good.
Yeah, this is very cool for commander.
Would you
I
play
don't think it's
this?
super high powered commander.
Would you play this
No.
in your deck? It works in your deck. It copies.
A lot of my spells that I play are not
Oh
multicolored.
yeah, they're not multicolored. I was gonna say it copies your extra turn spells, but yeah,
It does not.
they're not. There are some that are multicolored, but not a lot
Not
of
that I
them.
have. Yeah,
Yeah,
probably exile, which I specifically have the ones that do not.
yeah. Oh, you get Malcolm.
Malcolm the Eyes. It is blue and a red for a legendary creature, Siren Pirate, and it's a 2/2 flying haste. Another bear.
Yeah,
Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, investigate. Nuts.
yeah. Excellent.
Yeah,
A.
excellent. Works with plotting.
A to A
Bl bl
minus.
blue red is all on board for this.
It's probably like an A minus because it's not that high impact. It's not like an A. You're just always
It's not
playing it.
breaking the game, but
It's
like
kind of hard to
it
cast.
just for free gives you card draw.
But like
Like,
when? Probably not even turn 3 because you spent turn 2 doing this instead of plotting. So it's unlikely you're double spelling on turn 3. It's like on turn 4, and it's not even drawing you a card. It's just investigating, which takes more mana and more time to
no,
cash in.
no, I think you are doing. I think you are plotting something turn 2, and then you play this and then
Oh yeah,
unplot it.
yeah. You're right. You're right. Yeah, that's what you do.
And it has haste, so like,
Yeah, then you're playing that turn 3, and you have to have turn 2 plots. I don't know how common turn 2 plotting is.
there
Definitely
weren't a
not,
ton of them.
huh?
There weren't a ton of them. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
I'm
don't
never
think there were a
upset
ton
about
of them.
doing it. Even if I'm doing this turn like 4 or 5, like
4.
this is still a,
Yeah,
a
it's
haste.
still a 2/2 haste for 2. It's just like not super easy to cast. I'm just
Yeah,
saying it's probably not an A. It's like an A minus B plus sort of card.
sure. I'm still taking it every time.
Yeah, yeah, and also it being hard to cast kind of lends itself to that turn 3 play, like you suggested.
Yeah.
You know, but then you really want the Marchesa is
Yep.
back. Rakdos coming to the table.
Yeah.
We're still just an M of multicolored. My
Yep.
God, Marchesa, Dealer of Death for what's that color combination? Rakdos? No, it's not Rakdos. I just said it.
Grixis.
Grixis. Thank you, Grixis. A Grixis 3/4 human rogue. Whenever you commit a crime, you may pay 1. If you do, look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Whoa.
Okay.
That's good. I absolutely love this art. She is just
Yeah.
like really casually chilling, having presumably murdered this poor person in the
Oh,
background.
absolutely. And she is just thriving on murder.
I like the contrast between this and like the detective set that we just came from, where everyone's like,
Yeah.
"We're gonna solve it," and this is the Wild West. They're like, "What
And
could have happened here?"
we're killing everybody.
Yeah. Oh, look, Ted fell over dead. Um. Yeah, this is excellent. But again, it's just casting it. Like, I'm still just so taken aback by these. Not only are they printing 3-color wedges, they're doing it at low costs.
Yeah.
Where you need
Right.
all 3 in order to play this. This is really gonna like bork up limited packs. Like these are rares too.
Yeah, this is gonna make limited very strange.
It's gonna make it. I kind of like the idea of tempting people to be greedy to slow down the format. It's like maybe being fast is still optimal, but don't you want to play Marchesa? Like, come on, look at what it does. It's pretty cool. And it's got me. I want to. I want to play this.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, look at that
I
flavor
would love to
text.
play this.
You should have folded when you had the chance. That's so good.
I love that she murdered this person over a card game.
I mean, we're just
People
riffing.
are gonna want to murder you over a card game.
Yeah. Once again,
this.
she's the dealer, right? She's a dealer of death, which like implies
Yeah.
she's an assassin, that she's gambling, like she's got the poker reference.
Hmm.
It's everything about this card is big love.
Yeah.
Trying to cast it is not big
Excellent
love.
design.
Yeah, trying to cast it is going to be tough. I mean,
It's
what?
also it's
It's like
also
an A.
drawing you a card and burying
Yeah,
something for
yeah.
one.
It's like an A if you can play it.
Yeah.
You just have to be able to play it.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I really don't like evaluating these because the thing is you open this pack 1, you're just going to try to do it. So like, just have fun out of 10. That's the rating.
Yeah. Yeah. If you get it down, it's an A.
I guess we should talk about it. I guess briefly we should talk about it in Commander. I mean, I don't like kind of like doing these crime trigger things because this is pretty good even in Commander, right?
This is for sure good in Commander.
This feels very much like a Commander precon, right? Almost all these 3-color, because I feel like we're conditioned to see 3-color commanders, as like the precon leads. That's very common.
I think this could be an extremely annoying, extremely difficult to deal with commander because like you're just basically putting yourself in a position to play a bunch of like easy low cost removal. Every removal spell you use is going to replace itself.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm. And that's not a once per turn. You can chain
you're
this.
it's card selection. You're burying things that you want. It's in black, so you're like I'm like already like thinking I might make this commander.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's a cool one.
It's fun,
Yeah.
and who doesn't like to be able to lightning bolt someone?
And it's
Commander.
Marchesa, which is awesome.
And it's Marchesa,
And the
yeah.
art is amazing. Oh, I already want the EA of this.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
$16.
There's not an alt version, another alt version.
We'll see. We'll
Besides
see.
the extended?
Maybe there is. Is this
Oh,
one?
Becca.
This one's you. Yeah.
Splitter of Seconds. 1 blue, black, and a red for a legendary creature, Ogre Warlock, and she's a 2/5 menace. Whenever Obeka Splitter of Seconds deals combat damage to a player, you get that many additional upkeep steps after this phase.
That many additional upkeeps. So 2 additional upkeeps if she's not
At least 2.
if
Yeah.
she's not buffed. This is hilarious. I saw this when it got spoiled just because people were like, I didn't know I needed this in my life. Like, now I need to see how
Yeah.
many things have upkeep triggers.
Exactly.
Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, this is for sure a commander out of 10.
Yeah, you're living in borrowed time. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, I can't think of like upkeep triggers that we've seen.
I can.
Most of them this set.
In this set, no, I was just thinking like in Commander. Ironically,
Yeah.
Green enchantments like doing it like in Commander. The pick 2 of these triggers every upkeep. There's other things too, but yeah, I have no idea about in this set. Like this doesn't at all feel like it was meant to be put in the set. But I guess here we are.
Oh.
Again, if you can,
Yeah.
it's a 2/5 menace for 4. Like that's good.
Yeah, that by itself is fine.
Presumably, you'll get some amount of value from this.
But are you wanting to play 3 colors for the sake of playing this? No.
I might splash one. It's fun too. Again, it's just like tempting people to do it. I have to be in 2 of them. This one's certainly not like directing my draft. I'll say that, right? If I'm like building black-blue and manage to pick up like an early red removal spell that I probably wasn't playing anymore, and then I see this pack 3, I'm like,
yeah, sure,
maybe.
Fine. Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
We have to see.
Sure.
And if I might first pick it too, just to see how many of these triggers I can find. This is going to give, I think, this limited set more life than your normal limited set, because after you're done trying, to like do good and figure out the format, you're gonna be like, what legend am I opening this time? we're all inning it. We're all inning whatever 3-color legend I get.
I agree. I think this is going to be a really fun limited.
Oh, I get Oko.
Oko.
Mr. Yoko, more like. The ringleader. He's yoked. That was the joke. 2 green and blue for a legendary planeswalker, Oko Thirst Trap.
Yeah.
He has 3 loyalty, and he is at the beginning of combat on your turn. Oko, the ringleader, becomes a copy of up to 1 target creature you control, except he also has hexproof, so that he cannot be targeted, as creatures would. You can +1 him to draw 2 cards. If you've committed a crime this turn, discard a card. What? Otherwise, discard 2 cards. Okay. I should have kept reading. I was like, why is it penalizing me for committing crimes? It's not. It's keeping you from discarding both of them. There are 2 things. And then -1 to create an elk, much like Oko does. And then -5 for each other non-land permanent you control, create a token that's a copy of that permanent. That's not hard to get to.
Yeah. Very easy.
Him becoming a creature is just like randomly aggressive text as well. Because why not, I guess? Like, he fits in interestingly into a deck, right? Because if you play him on 4 and then play a 5-drop on 5, you can like aggressively make an elk and then swing with him as the 5-drop, right?
Yes.
And like not even worry about the drawing cards thing. You're just like, oh, he's a 5/4 trample beater because I played that 5/4 gain 3 life on 5, and he's made a 3/3. And then maybe I draw cards next time if you're able to stabilize. So much like Planeswalkers Unlimited, completely outrageously broken in every way. He also defends himself insanely well by just making a 3/3, and he can just make 3 3/3s for 4 mana, as well as being a creature himself. That's like his fail case. Yeah, A plus plus S plus in limited.
Yeah, this is just the ultimate upset when you get this played on you. Like you better be in a good board state to try to deal with this immediately, or else you're donezo.
I wonder if it actually. I think this is actually not good in Commander because Planewalkers aren't good in Commander, and this is like a non-Planeswalker sort of card. You know what I mean? Like it wants creatures. Not like a Super Friends deck, which is like the Commander thing to do with Planeswalkers. I wonder if it's good enough for like Standard or something. Probably not.
Yeah, I would have to. I mean, I have no idea.
The -5.
See it.
The -5 could just win you the game potentially. Like if you build the deck right, like you just try to +2 him. You just try to +1 him twice, and then just like do something that wins the game when you just copy something 20 times. I don't know. Maybe. I'm not smart enough. Oh, this art. Ooh.
Yeah. Pillage the Bog. Black and green sorcery. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is twice the number of lands you control. Put one of them into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random. You can plot it for 3.
Can you move your mic a little closer?
I mean,
this is an interesting card. Twice the number of lands you control, by the way.
yeah, I mean, this is very good.
So for 2, it digs 4, basically minimum. Which that's like. So in blue, right? That's worth 1 in a blue at instant speed. So it's worse than that. But you could plot this on 3, and then on turn 6, when you run out of gas, you can basically tutor for free, right?
Yes.
Look at the top 12.
Yeah, I mean, this is good.
It's slow.
I don't think it's great. It's just very slow.
And it's any card. You don't have to reveal it. It's a true tutor.
I think this is made better by like all of the multicolored stuff in this set. Like there are some bombs.
It's really good at like triggering double casts as well, but that's not this color combinations thing. I think this is playable, but I think it's just like a C, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more like a C+, but yeah. I don't think it's like blowing my mind.
Are you interested about this in Commander? I'm kind of not, because
so
you have to be playing like a green ramp deck, right? Like your normal Commander decks,
yeah,
they have a bunch of mana but not a bunch of lands. And this scales on land, so if you're doing the land thing, I guess. But I'm still not too terribly high on it. It might actually have some legs, and like there's the standard black green deck. Maybe it's interested in this. Like that's a pretty deep dig.
Yeah, it's a lot of digging in a non-commander format.
Rakdos joins up. There's like weird little like plot piece cards. It's like
Yeah,
Annie joins up, Rakdos joins up. You
Talon
son of a
joins up.
bitch, chime in. 3 black red legendary enchantment. When Rakdos joins up, enters the battlefield. That's a weird sentence. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with 2 additional 1/1 counters on it. Okay. Whenever a legendary creature you control dies, Rakdos joins up, deals combat damage equal to that creature's power to target opponent. That's a beating.
Well, this is the one I want to join up with.
Yeah, you like this one? It's pretty good, yeah. Reanimation with 2 1/1 counters. That's worth 5,
That's
almost certainly.
that's worth 5 for sure because like how many even like bears have we seen with insane text
Yeah.
that like just come back into play with it as a 4/4 and
Yeah, you
just
wouldn't
keep
be
on trucking.
right. You wouldn't be thrilled to hit a 2-drop, but the fact that even a 2-drop is like arguably okay to be reanimated with this, yeah, that makes
Yeah.
it definitely playable. And maybe there's a bunch of, I mean, obviously we've seen a bunch of legendaries here at
I
the
mean, there were
rare
several
slot
legendaries hit
multicolored.
uncommon as well.
Yeah, I wasn't even looking for it because I wasn't looking for like a legendary. We'll look at the end to see how many legendaries there are. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a
but
B plus.
yeah, the second part of this is a beating as well if you get there in
Yes.
legendaries. But yeah, I think it's at least a B plus, and if there are a bunch of legendaries and that's not hard to do, then it's sick.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully you have Rakdos himself.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking
speaking
of.
of, um, yeah, I guess the probably all the multicolored cards are legendaries. Now that I think about it, right? They were all like
Yeah, almost
specific
all of them.
people or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Take Rakdos himself.
Rakdos the Muscle. 2 black, black, and red for a legendary creature, Demon Mercenary, and it's a 6/5 flying trample. Whenever you sacrifice another creature, exile cards equal to its mana value from the top of the target player's library. Until your next end step, you may play those cards, and mana of any type can be used to cast them. Sacrifice another creature. Rakdos the Muscle gets indestructible until end of turn. Tap it. Activate only once each turn. I mean, so it's just like
That's
prevents
ridiculous.
removal. You're just sacking mercenaries left and right to keep this thing alive. Also, you can block with this and then sack something to give it indestructible, or attack with it.
It is until your next end step, which means you do have to do it that turn. If you do this during your opponent's turn, then you do get their turn and your turn to potentially play instants and stuff.
Yeah.
You can target their library or your library, which is also weird.
Yeah.
This is also just a free sack outlet, which is a thing that some decks
Yes.
want. Oh, no, only activate once each turn. Never mind. It's not a free sack outlet. You can only do it once.
Fair. You can, yeah.
And you can play any of them. So you can play lands, you can play any number of cards. There's ever many things. I mean, this seems, once again,
Good.
really good. Yeah, this seems really good. And it has, I
Hey.
mean, this is, I think giving it indestructible and the fact that there's mercenaries makes this like an A+. Like, you have to hit it
Yeah.
with an exile.
Oh, it's so
never
easy
dying.
to do.
Yeah, it's never dying. Like, unless you hit it with an exile effect. They're just
The
always going to
flying,
sack
the
stuff.
flying trample
For
6/5.
5. For 5, by the way.
5. For 5.
And God forbid you do have to make it indestructible, and then you get basically free casts and lands off the top of yours or your opponent's deck.
Yeah.
You could realistically mill your opponent out with this.
Yes.
Which is also pretty silly. Yeah, this is an A+, and it's maybe even good in other formats, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be interested to see.
I mean, exile effects and constructed do come around more often, but like this thing is going to end the game fast and can keep itself alive and can draw you cards, so that's a package. Okay. Here we go. Now we're to Teamer.
Yeah,
Riku of the Many Paths. No, just Riku of Many Paths. Many Omen
yeah,
Paths. So, blue, green, red for a 3/3. Again, human wizard. Whenever you cast a modal spell, which I'm guessing includes sprees, choose up to X, where X is the number of times you chose a mode for that spell. The Modal Lord.
yeah.
Exile the top card of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play it. Of your next turn, put a 1/1 counter on Riku of Many Paths. It gains trample until end of turn. Or create a 1/1 bird creature token with flying. You choose up to X. So even if you play a modal spell where you only choose one of the modes, you still get one of these every
Yes.
time. Which is why they're not broken. Um, Although exiling the top card until the end of your next turn is pretty close to drawing. Uh,
Yeah, that's yeah, basically drawing.
that's pretty good. So yeah, this is
At
this is
worst, it's filtering.
this is very strong. Obviously, you want sprees. Um, it's once
I
again
mean,
like an A if
I
you
will.
can play it.
Yeah, it's an A if you can play it. I mean, yeah, this is ridiculous if you can play it.
I think I like Marchesa a little better than this. Because it's just like guaranteed draw, filtering, and putting things in your graveyard, and it's crimes, which are easier than modal spells. Like I would say, most modal spells are crimes, but obviously there's a lot more crimes than just the modal spells.
Yeah.
Um, but you do have to pay a mana for her, but it still seems better than this. And she's a 3/4 for 3, although this guy can be a 4/4. Riku can be. Yeah, it's like an A if you can play it, but it's not the strongest of them, I don't think.
Okay. Roxanne, Starfall Savant. 3 red and a green, legendary creature cat druid, 4/3. Whenever Roxanne Starfall Savant enters the battlefield or attacks, create a tapped colorless artifact token named Meteorite. With when Meteorite enters the battlefield, it deals 2
Of
damage to any
course.
target.
It's actually Meteorite, the card Meteorite, which costs 6 colorless mana. By the way, I think.
Jesus, and it taps to add mana of any color.
Yeah.
Whenever you tap an artifact token for mana, add 1 mana of any type that artifact token produces.
Well, this card's wild. I really hope this has really over the top alt art. I love this art, but
I love this art.
I think it can get more ridiculous. Um, I mean
This card is
this card's insane. Yeah, this card's insane.
yeah.
Thank God the Meteorite is tapped when it comes into play. But yeah,
Yeah, but it's still doing 2 damage to any target
yeah.
as soon as it happens.
It's nuts. I'm saying thank God, because otherwise this card would be completely ridiculous. I mean, it's a 4/3 for 5 that's giving you a 6 cost spell for free. So
Yeah.
that's pretty good. Um, yeah. How good do you think it is in limited?
I mean, you're in Gruul. You're not mad about pseudo ramping and just
It is 5
random
though.
removal. It does cost 5 for a 4/3. But I mean, I still think it's probably a B plus, or I'm sorry,
Yeah.
more like a B plus.
I think
Probably a B plus.
yeah, I think it's probably yeah, I think BB plus is probably right. Um, I'm probably if this isn't good enough for. I mean, it does double ramp your artifacts, but like this thing costs 5. I guess you could. Maybe this is actually good enough in like high end, not
Like the
necessarily
highest end.
not necessarily CEDH, but maybe even because if you can put this into play quickly, it can do some pretty silly stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're like you have a ton of mana rocks that you've played for free. You could, I mean, you can easily in CEDH play this turn 1.
Yeah, you just need like
Uh,
Lotus Petal, Jewel Lotus, land. Play this turn 1. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I guess How do you feel about this thing? Are you? I guess in some fun modal deck in
it
Commander
would
you
be.
could play
This
this,
is
but
a for fun
it's
deck.
not great.
This
Yeah.
is obviously a for fun commander. I
Yeah,
mean, there's
that's something that
obviously
gets
plenty
there.
of modal cards in the history of Magic, so
I like this card
so
in limited too, though, because it's not like broken. Like, I don't think I'm groaning if my opponent plays this. I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. But like, what? It like
yeah,
kills a 2-drop, and then you can like shoot this thing. You know, you're not like, yeah, they ramped a little, but it was already turn 5. You can deal with this and not feel terrible, but it's a good card.
yeah, it's yeah.
Satoru the Infiltrator. Satoru's
Yes,
back. See this once
yes,
again the Omen Pass. Like now we're getting a Kamigawa guy,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
coming
yeah.
through. Yeah.
God, I love this art.
Yeah, this art's good. I also want to see an alternate art of it. Blue and a black for a human ninja rogue. By the way, like almost all of these have been outlaws, right? Other the druids not. Those
Druids not
wizards
wizards.
are in outlaws, right?
I don't. I think
Warlocks,
warlocks were
only warlocks, not wizards. Okay.
not wizards.
Satoru the Infiltrator. Well, rogues are, and he's a rogue, so he's a 2/3
Yep.
menace for a blue and a black. Whenever he or one one or more non-token creatures enters the battlefield under your control, if none of them were cast or no mana was spent to cast them, draw a card.
Whoa, plotting everything.
It's interesting that he counts himself yet has no intrinsic way to be played for free.
Yeah. Well,
Wait, he works with his Kamigawa version, right? That can like ninjutsu anything into play.
yeah, 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 yeah.
That's like the joke is like he works with his own 3-cost version of himself to get
Yeah.
ninjutsu'd in and draw a card. I guess.
It's pretty
Yeah,
cool though.
yeah, but obviously, like you said, the plotting
Yeah.
just draws you a card whenever you unplot a creature on a 2/3 menace
So,
for 2. So it's great.
I mean, this is very good.
Yeah, this is very good. This is like a B plus. B
Yeah, this
plus,
is
A
B plus.
minus, A
Maybe
minus.
even an A minus. Yeah.
Yeah, A minus. It's a little tough to cast again, but again, you're trying it. Oh, Ansafala. Okay, here we go. All these iconic people.
1 second. Your stream is completely borked.
Oh no!
Oh, 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 oh. It's starting to load again.
Is it back? Are you back?
I mean, I'm here, but I mean, I still can't read what it says. Yeah, you're gone again. You're completely gone.
Okay, well, we'll just wait a minute.
It's been doing this a lot over the last couple days.
Yeah, internet's not been great for some reason. Is it back now? I can see it on my phone.
Oh, oh, oh. Yep, now it's back.
Okay.
All right. Selvala, Eager Trailblazer. 2 green and a white for a legendary creature, Elf Scout, 4/5. It's got vigilance. It's also a mythic. Whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 1/1 mercenary creature token. Okay. And tap, choose a color, add 1 mana of that color for each different power among creatures you control. Well, I mean, this is an A.
It's a
But
4/5
like
vigilance for 4. Then Prince 1/1s.
yeah,
And
for
ramps
for
you.
and ramps you.
Maybe a bunch. Maybe ramps you a bunch.
An A plus, an S.
Yeah, this is like
Just
this is an A
just
A to A plus.
it's extremely brutal.
Yeah, wild. Thank goodness it's a mythic. I mean, it's
Yeah.
kind of fun, and I mean, it theoretically like taps for 3 to 4 mana in like Commander too, which is pretty neat.
In Commander, if this is your commander, is it Naya? Because it makes a red mercenary?
No, mm-mm.
Okay.
Has to have the mana symbol on it. Good question though. Seraphic?
Yeah.
Seraphic? Seraphic?
Seraphic. I think it's Seraphic.
I'm gonna say Seraphic. Seraphic Steed. A green and a white for a 2/2 unicorn mount. First strike lifelink. If it attacks while it's saddled, you get a 3/3 angel creature token with flying. Okay, and it saddles for 4.
Oh,
Weird.
that is weird.
It
It is a
needs
first strike lifelink for 2.
it needs to satisfy its seraphic need for Sarah Angel to write it. This art is incredible with the cloud being its wing
Yes,
or whatever.
yes, yes, yes. It's art.
That is
Art
well
is
done.
incredible. I mean, I still think it's very good. Also, I think this is like the wet dream for the 1/1 counters.
Yeah, it's a little
You're just
morbid.
pumping
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Oh yeah, one more count is insane. It's a little morbid, right? Because I think the implication is that it dies into an angel, right? Because
Yeah.
like if you're saddling this for 4, it's probably not surviving that combat. You know, it's just gaining you.
No.
The idea is, I think it wins combat earlier, gains you some lifelink. You're probably not attacking on 3, and then on 4 you're cashing it in for a 3/3 angel and gaining more
Yeah.
life on the way out. If you have
Yeah.
additional
Yeah.
combat tricks, now maybe you're just blowing out your opponent and they concede.
Yeah. This is.
It's like
Yeah.
a B
I
B
think this
plus.
is for sure a B plus or an A minus.
It's a B plus. Yeah, it's cool. Cool design. I like it. That EA though.
Gorgeous.
This is you.
Ty Joaquin, perfect shot. Boros, red and white for a 2/3 human mercenary. Whatever
Oh,
source you control.
pause. Pause. Is this them practicing for Star Wars?
I
You
mean,
know
it's
how we
definitely
say,
giving Star Wars art for sure.
yeah, like we said that them practicing for Marvel. We've seen very
Marvel.
clearly. This
Yeah.
this feels straight out of Star Wars or some sort
Yeah.
of sci-fi for sure. Okay,
Yeah, I agree.
sorry. Continue.
Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to a player equal to that creature's toughness, draw a card.
I have seen this.
Uh, Pay X and tap it if a source you control would deal non-combat damage to a permanent or player this turn. It deals that much damage plus X instead.
Yeah, get it? She
Yeah,
is the perfect shot. She helps
yeah,
trigger her first ability with the second ability.
right, right.
Um, this is cool. I really like this in the pingers deck, in my pingers deck that I never
Oh
actually
yeah,
built, although I have it like 80% built
yeah.
still. But I don't think it was
Just have a
playing white.
Yeah, I mean generally that's black red.
Yeah, or no, it's blue. It's
Um,
blue red and then maybe black. Um, but it is only non-combat damage. It's all non-combat damage.
it is only non-combat damage. I mean, it would be seemingly
Yeah,
impressive otherwise.
yeah, it'd be pretty silly.
Hey, if you have a ton of removal spells, and are basically a red deck, I'm loving the shit out of this.
Yeah, in that white, the white dealing 2 damage to a attacking or blocking creature, or 4 damage maybe, like that. That's
Yep,
obviously
yeah,
the best thing to go with this. Yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah,
its first ability triggers like regardless if she's helping or not. You know, she doesn't have to do it
yeah,
with the second ability. It has to be exactly equal. By the way,
yeah,
cannot be more.
yeah. I don't think this is great.
This is like a B minus probably,
I think the C plus
maybe.
pretty hard to
If
accomplish
if
exactly what it's trying to do.
if it draws
I
you
mean,
one
there's a lot
card,
of
it's a B
mirrors.
minus, right? It just has to draw you one card, and
Yeah,
it's a B minus.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yep. Oh, here we go.
Uh,
Vraska joins
yeah,
up. A black and a green for a legendary enchantment. When Vraska joins up, enters the battlefield, put a death touch counter on each creature you control. It's not terrible. When a legendary creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Also not terrible.
yeah.
Again, very interested in legendaries. Uh, This one again does. All these cards are obviously legendary matters, and then they like do a little bit of lip service to be like generally playable. How good is giving a death touch counter to each creature you control? Black green isn't really the mercenary colors, right? The more
I mean,
mercenaries you have, the better that is.
but there were several things that just shit out mercenaries in all the colors.
Not green, I don't think.
Not green.
I think the other colors did. Black does for sure. Like the
But
one that dies into one.
even so, like I just think it's generically very good.
Yeah, I think it's good. Black definitely can make a lot of mercenaries. This is
Yeah,
obviously crazy with the 1/1 that dies into the 1/1
yeah,
because now one of them has death touch. Yeah, again, we'll see how popular legendaries are, but this is pretty good. I think this is probably like a C plus. But you
Yeah, and it
really
only
want
costs 2.
legendaries. Really
Like,
want
it's so easy.
legendaries.
Yeah.
And you really want cheap stuff that trades into other cheap
I
stuff.
wish I
Oh,
had Flash.
I keep getting the joins up, and you keep getting
Uh, yeah,
who
yeah.
it is.
Vraska, the Silencer.
The
1
completed?
black and a green. Yeah, completed. It's a Gorgon Assassin, 3/3. Death Touch. Whenever a non-token creature an opponent control dies, you may pay 1. If you do, return that card to the battlefield tapped under your control. It's a treasure artifact with sacrifice it.
Get it? She's turned them into
Yeah,
treasure.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is cool. This is brutal. This
But
obviously keeps them from doing graveyard shenanigans.
notice it doesn't lose all other abilities, just all other types,
Yeah,
which means if it has
yeah,
static abilities, triggered abilities, activated abilities,
yeah. It still has them.
you still get all that stuff. Yeah, it's a mythic. I mean, this card's pretty broken.
Card's pretty broken.
This is a ground test for sure. I mean, it ramps you and possibly gives you broken passive abilities for the low cost of 1 mana and removing their creatures. So
Yeah, at worst, it's replacing the mana you meant to do it.
yeah, exactly.
You don't
So,
even have to.
yep, yep. It's pretty good. Pretty good. So what? This
Good.
is like an A, right? It's
Yeah,
an
it's an
A.
A.
Okay. Do you care about this in other formats?
Maybe. Um, I'm not
You
like super high on the idea that it could be,
you
but
you
I
can't you
mean, I'm
can't
sure
do it.
there's a way you can break everything.
You can't do it to commanders. I don't think. Can you? I don't know if you can do this to commanders or not. So when it dies, they get a trigger and you'll get a trigger. They'll get a trigger to move it to their command zone. You get a
Yeah,
trigger to
return.
return it to the battlefield, but can it return from the command zone if it goes there?
I would
If
assume so.
if this works on commanders, this is pretty good.
Yeah, 'cause
Um,
it just keeps them from playing their commander.
yeah, which makes you nobody's friend. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, maybe. All right, Wiley Duke,
Yeah, it's Wiley to
Atten
me.
Atten Hero, Atten Hero, one
I think
white
it's at Atten.
Atten Wiley Duke, Atten Hero, one green and white for a 4/2 human ranger legendary creature with vigilance. When Wiley Duke Atten Hero becomes tapped, you may gain 1 life and draw a card. But he has vigilance. So in what world is Wiley Duke Atten Hero becoming tapped? When you are saddling. See, Wiley Duke loves riding his steed. So
Okay.
the way to trigger his ability is to saddle up.
What he wants to ride is a unicorn.
He'd love to ride himself a unicorn. Exactly. That is his steed.
Yeah.
That's probably the steed. Because it
Yeah, yeah,
wasn't a
yeah.
unicorn
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yet. But Wiley Duke gonna ride that steed right to its death. But he's gonna draw a card and gain a life on the way, and then the steed will become an angel, 3/3 flyer. Yeah, this card seems good.
Yeah, it seems good. Also, I mean, it's green white, so there's plenty of
There's
things
a
to
lot of mounts. Yeah,
battle.
there's a lot of mounts. This is the Mount Pro Mounter.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think this is like a B plus, A minus. If you
yeah,
have
B
a lot
plus
of
A minus.
mounts, it's
It's a build
great.
around A.
It draws a card and gains you a life every turn, assuming you have
Yeah,
mounts.
it's
So
nuts.
that's pretty good. Um, because you can even saddle stuff that has summoning sickness. It just can't attack, but you can still do
Yeah,
the thing. So yeah, this is probably like an A minus. Seems really good. And I guess if you have a vehicle deck, the mount deck and commander, here you go. Oh, we did it! We did it!
absolutely.
So I thought these were legal already when I was building my new Boros deck that I wanted to use in Standard. I was expecting to
Yeah.
see the enemy fast land, and I was like, "What? It's not legal? Oh, because it's not out
Yeah.
yet."
Not yet. Yep.
So now we have to rate these by their art because we know what they are. These are
Yep.
great in limited, by the way. Like
Yeah. Of course.
these are like B minus, C pluses. Um, they're really good.
I mean, obviously, you're interested in anything being able to play multicolored, so
Yeah,
in your
because
colors.
these are untapped up to being your third land. So
Yeah.
that's pretty good. Um, so this art's great. I like
This
this
art
one.
is great.
I like this one a
I'm
lot.
all about this art.
Yeah.
Well, what's
Oh,
your grade though?
I said that they're all like C plus B minuses.
No, the art. Art.
Oh, with the art grade, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll rate them relative to each other. I don't want to give them absolute grades. I like it. I think it's good. It's a good art. Oh,
Yeah.
let's look at the alt art for it though. Ooh.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking good.
I think they all have trains on them. All the alt arts do. If I'm not mistaken. That secret layer is pretty good.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Is
That
not
is
is not at all giving off green
zero
black.
percent. Yeah, yeah. Green black is not that though.
Kaladesh one is pretty good. Old
Yeah.
magic art, pretty good. But yeah, I actually like the regular art. I think more than the alt art. But
That
yeah,
that I'm into.
Botanical
Yeah.
Sanctum is
Yeah.
excellent. I
Yeah.
love
B
green blue.
plus. B plus for art.
You B plus for that art. Let's see what its alt art is. Eh, I like the regular art better again.
Yeah. Agreed.
This is like very cartoony. Looks
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
honestly
Look
Wily
like an
Coyote sort
unset.
of stuff.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's
That's pretty
the
good though.
Doctor Who one.
Yep.
Once again, the Kaladesh. I like how they used to do
Going hard.
pre-releases where they completely like changed the color pattern or whatever
Yes.
for them to be
The
really bright.
saturation is completely different.
Yeah, it's cool. Concealed courtyard. Oh, that windmill has seen better days.
Yeah. I don't love
Yeah,
this overall
this is
art,
my
but I
least
think it's
favorite.
pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I
my least
still think
favorite
it's
art
like
so far.
a B minus.
Maybe it has a good extended art one. Oh, I do
Oh,
like its extended art.
it has in it's shit because this one is
Yeah,
mess.
yeah, that's
It's
very good.
mess.
It's very good. The secret layer one is great.
So
Dalex.
funny.
Oh yeah, I know the Kaladesh one because this
Yeah,
one I've actually played uh,
yeah.
quite
Oh,
a few
I
times.
want to say I might have.
That's
Though.
so pretty. I really love this land. Man, Kaladesh. I hope we get. I never got to play in Kaladesh. I hope we get
Surely
to
we'll
go
go back to
back.
Kaladesh at some
Yeah.
point.
Inspiring Vantage. They're probably just debating internally if they can actually bring back inventions without like making everyone quit.
Yeah,
Inspiring
yeah,
Vantage. This one's just okay. I
yeah. It's just okay.
I like the ideas, but I wish they had like I don't know made it more epic in some way. Like I like everything in it. It's just not executed in a very
Yeah,
interesting way.
I like exactly what you said. What it's going for. I just don't think it's doing it
That's
very
like the
well.
red white land thing to do.
It's the
Maybe
alt.
no. It's just
Absolutely not.
it's just whatever.
Fuck out of my face.
That's just really funny because it's called Inspiring Vantage. I like it. Again, the Kaladesh one is so good.
Oh, so good, yeah.
Spirebruff,
This is also very
Spirebruff
cartoony to
Canal.
me.
Yeah, I'm not feeling this one either.
I don't like it.
Weird.
I think that might be my least favorite, honestly.
This one's also just whatever.
It's just whatever. It's better, but like
Yeah.
that's excellent.
Daylex crack me up every time. I have all of them. Oh, see, and then once again, the Kaladesh one. Oh, that Kaladesh promo, though. Is
So good. So
so
good.
pretty.
Oh shit.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
here how about this?
yeah, you take it. I got the other one.
Jace Reawakened. Double blue for a legendary planeswalker. You can't cast this spell during your first, second, or third turn of the game. It comes in with 3 counters. You +1, draw a card and discard a card. +1, exile a non-land card with mana value 3 or less from your hand. If you do, it becomes plotted, and then -6 until end of turn. Whenever you cast a spell, copy it. You may choose a new target for the copy.
So it's +1, 3 free mana, basically, right?
Yeah.
But you don't get to fully utilize this turn.
Yes.
There are ways to get this into play before turn 4. You just
Before
can't
turn.
cast it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you could put it into play some other way. In limited, how good is this? Not very.
I don't think it's insane. Certainly.
Like turn
I mean,
4, you're plotting something, but you could have already plotted it. And then it's just a looter. Like it's not really. None of these actually get you value until the 6. The 6 gets you value, obviously.
right.
But the 1 and 2s don't get you value, and it doesn't even really ramp you. Because you're doing it on turn 4, you still have 2 mana left over. So I guess ideally you go 2-drop and plot a 3-drop on 4 after you cast it.
Yeah.
So what is this? This is like a
Which
C
doesn't
plus
feel
maybe.
great.
This is like a C plus, C
Yeah,
plus in limited.
I think it's a C plus. Yes, it's certainly not bad, but it's not like breaking backs
Yeah, it's
unless you're
gonna be.
just uber control.
It's got a shot in other formats, I think, maybe,
Surely. I
because
mean,
it's a 2 cost.
the -6 is nuts.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It's no Ren and 6, I'll tell you that. But
Right,
all
right.
2 cost planeswalkers are a
Not
little bit
not many
dangerous.
things are.
The art's amazing. So good.
Yes. Him like half Ashiok.
Yeah, it's so good. Look at this. The alternate
Yeah,
art is also great.
very good. With that demented finger.
Yeah. And that's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's it.
And so I said, oh, we still have to do the two
Just keep it
two
legendaries.
bonuses.